Me, to be honest with you, I don't really focus a lot on this world type of uh, what you might call esoteric knowledge that deal with the world. I really don't focus a lot on that, and that is because what am I doing here? Now, hold on one second. Raw talk. I don't really focus on that too much because I understand that this world is just not real. So, to me, trying to master this world is, when you're not even supposed to even be here in this world, that's the way I look at it. Like, we all kidnapped. So, me trying to get the most money in this world or trying to do all of these things in this world is almost like, you know, accepting that you're in prison. You know, like since the soul is eternal. So with the soul being eternal, if if you focus too much on this life and that afterlife, you gonna stay here the way they got this system set up, man. It's people have to understand the system, the way the system is set up, thoughts matter. And it's by purpose and design that they don't teach us absolutely nothing about the afterlife, and they want you to put all your trust in somebody else. Don't worry about it. Jesus will save you. God will save you. Allah will save you. You know what I'm saying? So this lulls people to sleep. People are lulled to sleep thinking that somebody else is going to save them. And they waste their whole fucking life. Some people live like my neighbors, they still kicking it. They good people. Unfortunately, we all went to church every Sunday. And, they're older. They don't know something wrong. I keep saying to myself that, one day I'm going to go up there and talk to them because I've, been knowing them since I was a kid. And, go up there and talk to them and just say, look, I love y'all like my own parents. I got something to say. You're not going to agree with it. But I want this in your head. You know what I'm saying? In your memory banks for you to recall it when the time comes and give them the soul trap. You know what I'm saying? They're not idiots or nothing. They don't, they're not on social media. They don't know any of that stuff. So, if I make it up there before they kick it, yeah, I'm gonna do that. But, this is to me, this is like a terrible thing, a terrible trick being played on people, man. It really is. It's a terrible trick, But anyway, I'm gonna be trying to get that book of the ramification book out at least by March. I'm doing a conference with the 1,000 rods. It's called the Oracle Conference. I sent you all an email if you didn't get it. If you're on my mailing list, I sent you an email with a video in it. All right, with me with the 1,000 rods, talking to the spirits. So the conference is going to be, you buy your ticket, you write down the questions that you want. All right, you email me those questions. And we're going to go in alphabetical order by name, and we're going to ask the 1,000 rods your questions. Now, here's the thing. In the video that I just sent you, I asked the 1,000 rods, do they know everybody in the world? They said yes. They know all of y'all. And I asked them, will you be able to answer anybody's questions? They was like, yes. So, how we learn? Well, you didn't learn. We talked about it briefly in class. It relates to when we did the Pistis Sophia, we learned that there is a system in the afterlife. All right. Jesus is running a system. And I haven't posted, but because I'm actually revamping the Soul Trap. But I have a video that I've spoken to y'all about that talks about a little girl that died and went to heaven. She went into the light, went to heaven with her spirit guides, and she encountered what you may interpret as the Holy Spirit. And the spirit guides told the spirit to not come close to the little girl who is dead, is a dead spirit, you know, to not come close to her, because if the Holy Spirit had came close to the girl would know everything that the Holy Spirit knows. So with that information, this is how you use ramification thinking. With that information, coupled with the information that I've gotten from the spirit rods themselves, this suggests what? That there is a sort of hive mentality in this on the spiritual side, that, you know, when you get to, I guess one of the, let's just call it one of the 5G zones, that you will know everything they know. But see, here's the thing. Based off of near-death experiences, souls that leave Earth don't know nothing, even when they encounter these other beings. So they blocking us from knowing. Not only are they blocking us from knowing, all right, each time you do a journey on Earth, they wipe your memory clean. You see what I'm saying? But as I state in the Soul Trap session, when you return back to source, you will become part of that hive again and know everything that everyone knows. Of course, that depends on what type of soul you are. So for a lot of y'all, you are not a divine soul. You need to come to the conference, to the Oracle conference. That should be one of your questions. To ask the spirit rods, there's only 3 types of souls. You need to find out what type of soul you are. Because if you a demiurge soul, you're stuck. You're stuck here. You cannot return to source like a divine soul. Which means, I mean, you still a soul, but according to the thousand rods, according to these entities, you don't have as much of a spark, let's just say, as a divine soul. Which means you might be, you know, and I'm studying this now, you might be encountering different obstacles if you got, let's say you got the Soul Trap session and you are the lowest level of a soul. All right. Well, the archons is coming for you. Make no mistake about that. I mean, they coming for all of us, but they really not gonna let you. You gonna have to be on some other stuff. You really gonna have to be on some other stuff. Because to them, you property. You property. Because you was created, you know, remember in the Pistis Sophia when we went over how Jesus was describing how some of the souls was created with a piece of a part of a piece? That would be the demiurge souls. So, and see, people, nobody's doing this. Even all these people doing these thousand rods and stuff, they don't ask the right questions. They just, you know, but that's the missing research that we got. Like, there's no research on that. Anybody can tell their near-death experience, but if they don't know what type of soul they even got in the first place, could this be a reason why some people only see blackness? Could this be a reason why, you know, people are seeing different things and stuff like that? Possibly could, you know, which is something I never thought about. You know, we assumed everybody got the same kind of soul, but they don't. So what if the people that say there's nothing, that they see blackness, what if it's because they have a demiurge soul? Or what if it's reverse? What if all these people that have the near-death experiences and talk about they going to heaven, because heaven is up here. Oh my God, think about this. This is a revelation right here. What if because you know what? The majority would never be correct on any level, because the majority is controlled by the system. So what if the majority of the people that's talking about, yeah, I went to heaven and I saw God or Jesus and I was running through the field and all of that, that's the fake heavens that Enoch described, which we are reading about now in the School of Esoteric Knowledge. So what if all those people that seen that actually demiurge souls? And the reason up to heaven is because their soul is drawn to go there, the fake heavens. That is something to think about. You see what I'm saying? And that's something that we don't think about, which we should. So if you want to know what kind of soul you are, you need to come to the Oracle Conference. It's going to be March 1st. You can get tickets on my website, rreport.com. You need to come, man. You need to come and find out what kind of soul you are. I already did mine. I did it in class one time.
Yeah, I agree. Not to cut you short, bro. I agree with you 100% on what you're saying. I'm definitely going to get my ticket and show up.
Yeah.
But what you said about the heavens, those 10 heavens,
yeah,
that does make sense. That you are drawn to that, because what did they do? They gave us a description of each one in the book of Enoch.
Right.
Because like I said, I got the book of Enoch in my Ethiopian Bible. That was the only reason I bought it, because I wanted to read about the book of Enoch, the book of Jubilee, the books that they took out the Bible.
Right.
And so that definitely is something to think deeply about.
It is. Yeah. Because that exists. This is a real thing. Yeah. What type of soul you are.
They don't want us to have the knowledge to escape this realm.
No.
Because, I always refer back to the 99 sheep when the one got missing. That means they don't want their soul up out of here. They want to keep every soul here. And they want to feed you misinformation, just like the media, social media, the news, they feed us what? Misinformation.
Exactly.
And the Epstein file, they put that out there to throw your ass off, because now they passed on the 7th, they passed the digital, something to do with digital ID. I got it on my notes, I'm not sure, but it's got something to do with digital ID or digital social security card, one or the other.
Yeah.
And that's what they get this. That's why they got all these distractions, so you look the other way.
Yeah.
But if you do your homework, you find out that everything they laying down is for this new world order that they're gonna get. Like old man Bush said when the Twin Towers fell.
So the new world order.
Yeah.
And new people don't really understand what new world order means. All right.
No.
That don't mean they pushing this off on you. This is the reset. All right. Transhumanism is coming.
Right.
All right. A new
revolution. We done been through the third industrial revolution already. Now we're in the fourth industrial revolution, which is transhumanism, merging man with a machine. And overall, what's going to happen is AI is going to take over totally.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is already to get set up with bringing solar panels into outer space. I found that out too.
Yeah.
This dude getting deep, man, pulling this supercomputer because in some part of Memphis where he has his facility, he's using turbines. Okay, well, turbines run off of methane. Okay, methane does what? It's a carcinogen.
Right.
I deal with chemicals. I pump stuff like that to make fuel out of.
Right.
For the to burn like body parts, offshore drilling equipment, debris and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Elon Musk, man, he's straight up. I guess you could say he's getting the Antichrist ready because the Antichrist to me is artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
It ain't a human being; it's a machine. It's like they put it to the first Matrix. They told us what it was all about.
Right.
If anybody watched the first 1999, that's where it's all about. Yeah. Yeah,
it's coming. It's coming. And whenever you bring something new like that, the old is out with the old, in with the new. So all this stuff that's all on the internet, look, they done got everybody dependent on the internet, right? Everything's internet. Look, the Epstein files, internet. So when they decide to do the Great Reset and press delete on all that information, gone. And just like they told you the Sinbad movie never existed, they gonna wipe, I think they can actually do a memory wipe on a mass memory wipe on us all. I really think that like when people go look at the sun, I think they uploading or downloading, it's something up to that shit when they look. I try to explain this to y'all all the fucking time. Ain't nothing in this world for free, especially knowledge. All right. So why do you accept free goddamn X-ray glass, whatever they call, what's solar eclipse glasses, and go out there and look at the sun? Who's paying the bill for you to get free solar eclipse glass? Ain't they free? Am I not? Because I never went. Aren't they free though? Anybody ever went and looked at the solar eclipse? Don't they give you free glasses?
You could get them at your local library for free.
Yeah. Niggas ain't learned yet. Motherfuckers ain't learned yet. Ain't nothing for free. Who's paying that bill? You see what I'm saying? It just don't make sense to me. And they keep sending people out there. Yeah. Notice how they advertise it. Oh, we're going to have a solar eclipse coming. Get your glasses and go out there and see the solar eclipse. Why?
Hey, Rob, don't you think the transhumanism is old?
It's old? What you mean? Like they did it before?
Yeah, like they've been doing it.
Well, yeah, they've been doing it. But I'm talking about...
Like with the lady with the spaceship on the moon, on the live that you did.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm saying that because they ain't nothing new. Everything they recycle everything. You know what I'm saying? For example, if y'all don't understand what we're talking about, he's saying this has happened before at some point. Everything has happened before at some point. That's why it's called a reset. Think for it. I'm going to give you an example. You've seen the videos back in the 1900s, early on in the century. They was riding electric scooters then. What the fuck happened to electric scooters that people think electric scooters just came out in the last 10 years or so? Why do people think that? They had electric cars back then in the 1900s. In the 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s. Why do people think that electric cars is new? Electric cars was one of the first inventions of cars to run on electricity, not gas. You see what I'm saying? So how is it that we as a nation or as a people forgot that they was already riding electric scooters? They was already driving electric cars. How did we forget that? I'm telling you. When they do a reset, they have the ability to wipe damn near everybody's mind. And then you had the motherfuckers that remember what they call fractal remembering stuff, where they only remembering, bits and pieces, just like a kid up to age 7 that remembers their past lives, and then after they pass age 7, it's gone. But up to age 7, children remember their past lives. Now, how they express that memory, that's the thing, because they don't know. A lot of kids don't know how to express it. They'll tell you it was a dream or something like that, because to them that's what it feel like, a dream. For some kids, it's more clear. For other kids, it's not. You see what I'm saying? But with the reset comes erasure. So that's why I'm putting these books in print, to try to get this knowledge out of my head and into your hands, so that you can always have something. I mean, let's be honest. It may come a day, man, when books like this, they may outlaw. All right. We got some important questions we're going to ask the spirit rods about Trump, about where, not just this nation is going, where the world in general is going. Where is humanity going? What's going to happen to us? Is the alien invasion real? Is the flood coming? Flood 2.0 coming? Is the tsunami going to hit the West Coast? Are they really gearing up for the zombie apocalypse? Which I got concrete proof of that. But we gotta ask the Thousand Rods that too, where that's going. But this is why getting the soul trap session is so important. Who the hell wants to come back to this world after you leave it?
Excuse me, Raw, man. I'll say something real quick before I forget.
Go ahead.
I have a PDF that was put out by, I'm going to have to send that to you, by the organization telling us what to do in the event of the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Page by page. I got all I always look for it. When I do, I'm going to send it to your email. Now, you said something else.
The CDC put out a report on that too. The CDC put out a report on that. Matter of fact, I might try to play that video for y'all in the class. All right.
Yeah, the CDC put it out. That's what I need to say. Not the World Health Organization. CDC put it out.
Because the video I have, they already running military simulations on. They got real zombies, right? They turning people into zombies and doing military exercises with them, right? They done allowed the zombies to bite and scratch, and do something else to people, and then they quarantine them for 90 days to see if they they turn into a zombie. They doing all of this, and then they said, "What's a problem?"
Like that right now.
Yeah, they said here's here's one of the problems. And they mentioned that CDC. I remember posting. I made a big thing about that. All right, I posted that. They mentioned that CDC warning. They said this is a problem. The CDC issued this out. They called that a problem. Warning y'all. Go ahead, Rob.
Right. Yeah. Now, also, how can I say it? I play Black Ops, NFL football online. I play all that stuff on PlayStation 5.
Right.
But I've been waiting on Vice City to drop, and it ain't dropped. But if you look at the map that they have for any game that they ever had, the map was actually similar to Los Angeles, but it wasn't called Los Angeles. It was called something else. Miami was called Vice City, just to give you an example.
Right.
But this new map has Florida in the water by itself.
For real?
That's the new map has in that game. It has Florida in the water by itself. So that's what tells me that whenever Florida is on an island by itself, that's when they're gonna release that game. And that's gonna happen. They're working on that right now.
Florida going underwater. I don't know what people in Florida think, or on the West Coast. Motherfucker, I guess they just don't care. You know, I don't care.
Well, sinkholes ain't popping up for no reason at all. You know what I'm saying?
I don't believe.
It takes about 2 weeks to get your book.
All that stuff, that's real.
Yeah. Yeah, if you order the book, if you order the book, Secret Book of Knowledge, please realize you ordering from a print-on-demand place. So just because your book went into the mail, they have to print it first. All right? They got to print your book first, and that's going to, you know, all of this should have been explained when you ordered it, right? They got to print the book first. That's going to take about 4 days. All right. And then they're going to ship it after that. And I don't know if you had options on how you wanted it shipped. I did when I ordered my author copies. So I took the least expensive, which is going to be like 2 weeks to get the book. So I don't know what you chose. If you just chose standard, you know, it's going to take about 2 weeks to get the book. If you chose standard. All right. But
Teacher don't act like you broke. Teacher don't act like you broke.
Broke like a mug. But yeah, so, but no, it's coming. It's coming. A couple people emailed me. It's coming. And I don't have tracking numbers or nothing like that. It's, you know, I'm not handling that part, you know. Only thing I know is when they say it's shipped. When they say it's shipped, that means they put it in the mail, depending on, you know, whatever shipping you chose. But it's coming. It'll be about 2 weeks. You'll get about 2 weeks. That's why I ain't been quoting no pages. I have to pull my pages off my computer. But yeah, this stuff is happening for real, y'all. I know a lot of y'all. I know a lot of people don't want, you know. It's look. If these Epstein files ain't show you something, it should tell you that all these conspiracy theories have been real, and the shit is about to hit the fan. You need to take shit more seriously. You know, you need to take this shit more seriously. You know, I still ain't made the post about the flood that's in there. Some of y'all seen it. I'm gonna give you a hint. If you go back and look at the pages of the Epstein files that everybody's posting that says Joe Biden was shot in 2019, if you go back and read the first paragraph, read the first sentence. It's right there. It says, we are going into maritime law and the buying and selling of humans and human souls is over. Do you understand what that means? I know people like Jordan Maxwell have told you we are under maritime law. All right. But technically we're not. I mean, we are, but we're not. Not fully. But if they telling you we going into maritime law, people, that means that's the law of the sea. And if you on land and here they telling you going into the law of the sea, that the law of the sea is coming. Well, for the law of the sea is coming on land, that means the land must turn into sea. So this flood is coming. They prepared. And then they told you the buying and selling of humans and human souls is over. Well, we know they've been buying humans, but not too many people that I know except me been telling you that they've been trafficking souls. When I heard, and Raj remember because he keep quoting it, when we heard about the woman who was a soul on that UFO with 2,000 other souls coming here on a UFO with gray aliens, and all of these souls were told coming to Earth, you know, to help raise frequency or ascend. It's a bunch of nonsense. Yeah, consciousness. When I heard that, so all them people was lied to. You see what I'm saying? So all those souls was lied to, and they came here willfully on their own free will because they was lied to. And now they're going to be put into a system where as soon as they get into a body, their memories will be wiped clean. They won't remember what they're here for. So what does that mean? Buying and selling of souls. Somebody bought them souls. The gray aliens is trafficking them right here into Earth. That's why I often quote the Heaven's Gate cult. Somebody told them, some alien told them to unalive themselves and that a UFO would be waiting on them to pick their souls up and get them out of here. I don't remember what they said where they were supposed to be taken to, but all that sounded like was a soul jacking.
No, they said it was going home. They said they told them that it was going home.
Home, right, wherever that is, right? So that was a soul jacking because them people wasn't, I mean, was they related? I don't think they were related. You know what I'm saying? I believe when you see these mass events like the Jim Jones thing in Guyana, 950 something people drunk the Kool-Aid. What people don't know, I don't post it. These posts don't get a lot of views. I posted on my page. Jim Jones, a live, you could probably find it on YouTube, a live tape of Jim Jones preaching. In the crowd is black shadow entities. I think their eyes was red or white or something, but you can see them clear as day. It's about 4 or 5 of them. So them shadow entities was there, probably whispering in his ear, kill all these motherfuckers. Because they jacking souls. They jacking souls. Which, if you use ramification thinking, go on my website, sign up, get the book. Use ramification thinking. It's not too many souls just wandering around Earth, people. That's human. You know, like, for example, say you die today, you know enough not to go into the light, but you didn't get the soul trap session, so you don't know where to go, so you come back to Earth, because what you going to do, hang out in the darkness? No, you're not. So you're going to come down to Earth, and some of y'all might think you're just going to roam around. Not so. Not so. You're going to find you a place to get to. Oh, that's another thing. At the conference, the Oracle conference, you might want to, you know, some of us been cursed. Curses are real. You do know that, right? Some of us have curses that have been put on you, and you don't know about it. But sometimes, you know, you ever go through spells where you like, damn, why am I getting all this bad luck? Somebody cursed your ass. Ask the 1,000 rods. Did somebody curse me? Ask the 1,000 rods. Did your deceased loved ones go into the light? Did they reincarnate? You know, if you got some kids' names, you can be like, is such and such my reincarnated, you know, loved one or whatever? The 1,000 rods told me my mom reincarnated, but my father did not. So the next thing I gotta ask is did he go? I need to ask, did he go into the light? Because if he went into the light and he did not reincarnate, guess what that means? Guess what that means? He's in the pillar of souls that Enoch told you about, where they store souls. He's there. Because there is no heaven like you think. Enoch described every level of heaven. If you think your people is someplace with Tupac kicking it, you need to read the book of Enoch or join the School of Esoteric Knowledge, where, you know, I'm reading this and we all as a class, you know, we brainstorm and we actually read the Bible. There's a difference between reading the Bible and understanding what you read as opposed to going to church and listen to a preacher pull verses out of a Bible and try to apply that to some fucking scenario. That's not teaching you. That's not learning. That's bullshit. You wasting your fucking time. You wasting your time. And the biggest thing of all is you letting somebody else tell you what to think. You're not using your fucking head at church. Somebody is sitting in a pulpit telling you what something means. And motherfuckers is going along with it for years. Listen to this shit. For years, pastors done got up in a goddamn pulpit and told you Adam and Eve is the first humans. And still, some niggas still believe that shit. Even though clearly on the sixth day, God created humankind, both male and female, and told them to go fuck, suck, and have babies. That was the first commandment gave to humans. And you ain't never heard one preacher say it. Why? Why don't they tell you the truth? Because they want your dumb ass to keep coming to church. Raj can attest to that. He's a former pastor. Tell him, Raj.
Exactly, because I've got 40 years of ministry where I designed. I was a pastor for 3 years before I left the pastoralship. What the pastor does is his job to teach the Bible, but not teach it in a way that you can actually learn. Because the curriculum that comes from the Baptist Union Committee is set up to where they will never give you the truth, because Genesis chapter 1 would have woke the whole church up and everyone would have walked out. And it was a reason that I never ever was able to teach a Sunday school lesson starting with Genesis chapter 1. When I resigned from ministry, I realized why. It's because the church's job is to keep you dependent on something outside of you, which is a kingdom waiting for you in heaven. Because they always say at funerals that in my Father's house there are many mansions.
Yeah.
Who were not so, I would not told you. There I go to prepare a place for you. So it's all how could I say it? It's the business, okay?
Yeah.
It's a business. You pay your tithes. You pay your offerings. But in the Old Testament, we already knew what tithes and offerings really meant. And the tithes and offerings meant to take care of the people. You know, to bring the food, because back then all they had was basically, it was agriculture back then. So if you had some oxen, animals, if you had a farm, then you were able to help within the community, because that's how they traded back in the day.
Right.
But nowadays, you go to church, you bring your tithes and offering. Your tithes and offerings got the pastor with a Rolex, got him driving a Bentley, and he got a $3 million mansion. But if you need something, the first thing the pastor's going to do, let us pray.
Yeah.
And you do the same thing the following week. But if you need something, you won't be able to get it.
Nope.
And it's set up that way. Keep you in that mindset of always dependent upon something, but in actuality, everything is within. That's why people miss the fact that all you got to do is go to church and say, didn't Jesus say in Psalm 82:6 that I have said ye are gods? And then ask the pastor again. But also in John chapter 10, verse 38, Jesus said, is it not written in your word that I have said ye are gods? Now, pastor, can you explain that to me? That's going to go right over the pastor's head. He's going to come up and say, well, that means that he's going to tell you something totally different and have you believe it, instead of you believing exactly what the scripture told you. But if you don't go within, you'll never awaken. Simple as that.
And that's how you know, you want to know how you could tell which parts of the Bible are written by the church and not by, Jesus or anybody like that, is when they clash like that. So Jesus is telling you, I go up in my Father's house, there are many mansions. I go to prepare a place for you. Why would Jesus be preparing a place for you up there? Because this is where he's talking about, up there, unless you coming up there. And many of you are, because you think Jesus is here to save you. But Jesus already told you who you were. He told you you are God's. So if he put you on the same level as his father, why would you be going there with Jesus? You think this is where gods hang out? In these 10 domes that's all underwater, that, like Enoch told you, they all underwater, fam. Space is not water. Don't get it twisted. Enoch also told the top heaven, number 10, where God resides, they took him back up into the water, and they went out of the water up into outer space. And that's the reverse of how the Bible starts. God hover. Let's just read it for ourselves.
It says in the beginning. Yeah, you can. This is chapter 1. It says in the beginning, the Spirit of God hovered over the waters of the deep.
Exactly.
It was dark. Let there be light. That's what it was light.
Over the waters.
He separated the waters
of the deep.
And put a firmament there.
So Enoch ain't lied to you. Enoch didn't lie. In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep. What does deep mean? Water. So what does that mean? God was hovering over the face of the water. What does that mean? He was over a body of water. And remember, the word God means what? The original word is Elohim, which is a plural word. So that means many of these so-called gods was hovering over the face of the water. So where do you get that God created the universe at? Who told you that? Your preachers. See, if I keep reading, I'll dispel all of these myths that come from your preacher, and then now you get to looking at your preacher for exactly what he is. A fucking liar. And my baby's mama is a preacher who does not want to talk to me because I done read this book 5 times, front to back. I read the Quran. This is my prison Quran book. I read this book 11 times. I read it in full before I joined Islam. Why would I join something without knowing what the fuck is in the book? And yet you niggas call yourselves Christians and all of this shit. Did you read this before you joined? No. Have you read it since? No. Did your parents read this motherfucker? No. Ain't nobody, you don't know nobody that read this motherfucker except the Rraw Report. Ain't that stupid? I'm just being real. Is that not dumb that you joined something and you didn't even know what it was that you joined? Would any of you niggas that's called so-called Christians right now, would you convert to Islam without reading this book? If you do, you an idiot. Maybe that's how the Epstein, maybe that's how Epstein got so many victims. Maybe he told them they was joining some type of club. And they joined without reading the rule book. As Jesus said, when I was a child, I did, what's the quote, childful things? But as an adult, I put away those childish ways. We still got motherfuckers who will swear up and down that every word in the book is correct, and yet they have not even read it. Because if they did, like Rod said, chapter 1 is so raw in this Bible that if you read it and understood what the hell you was reading, you would know that, number 1, you live in a dome underwater. Number 2, humanity was created to fucking suck and have babies. That was the only order given to humanity. Where'd all this marriage and all of this shit come from? Huh? It don't say that. It say be fruitful and multiply. Do it say God in this book? No. So shouldn't you be asking yourself, where do all these goddamn other additional rules come from with when I'm sitting up here reading that God himself told the very first people to walk this earth, go eat. I've given you dominion over the fish in the sea and the animals on the land. Now go be fruitful and multiply. He didn't say pray to me. He didn't say worship. He didn't say go to church. He didn't say get married. He ain't say none of that shit. He said go fuck, suck, and have babies. You still got motherfuckers in church still sitting up here saying, but if Adam and Eve had Cain and Abel, how did the world get populated? You still got dummies, you know, and you got some people even dumber than that don't even question that. God made a firmament, separated the waters from the waters, and brought the land up. And guess what he called the land inside of this firmament? Earth. So NASA is sitting up here telling you Earth is a planet. God told you Earth is just, that's the land. That's what you walk on. The ground. The ground is called Earth. Not the planet. You don't live on a planet. You live inside of a dome underwater. On a planet that your Bible never told you the name of. The Sumerian texts tell you the name of the planet that you live on. You live on a planet called Tiamat, at the bottom of an ocean, inside of a dome called Earth. That's where you live. And what else God go on to say? Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. The sun, the moon, the stars, he placed them all where? Inside the dome. He said the sun, moon, and stars. He don't say the planets. You want me to read that too? He just said sun, moon, and the stars. He don't say put the planets. And God said, let there be lights in the dome of the sky to separate the day from the night. Let them be for signs and seasons and days and years. And let them be lights in the dome of the sky to give light upon the earth. And it was so. God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. God set them in the dome of the sky to give light upon the earth, to rule over day and over night, and to separate light from God saw it was good, and there was evening and morning, the fourth day. Did he mention anything about planets? No. See, reading this fucking book and understanding and learning what you're reading is two different fucking things.
Well said, Rraw.
And this is why.
Hey, can I say something real quick?
Yeah. No, keep going.
It's something about Cain and Abel. I was busy, but see, the reason Cain killed his brother was because his brother gave a better offering. No. See, the moral of that story is that Cain was operating out of what they say, hey, if you got strife, if you got envy, if you got jealousy, if you got hate, if you got malice, if you got covetousness, wanting something from someone else, that's what the hell Cain was operating out of. Okay? So that's the reason why he killed his brother. What was his brother operating out of? Well, he was kind, he was meek, he was gentle, he was filled with love and joy because what? He gave what he had. So the difference between that story is that one had a good heart, a good frequency. The other one had a lower frequency because he was operating out of his root chakra, ready to take on the world and kill the world.
Right.
And then run behind what he wanted from it. So that's all. Anytime you got those attributes within you, you running around as your own fucking devil. Okay?
Right.
So you can say Cain is the first devil in the Bible, other than God, because he lied to,
Right.
he lied in the Bible. That's the Bible has so many discrepancies in it. It tells you, "For I am a loving God." But then when you go to Exodus chapter 20, verse 1, it says, "Put no other gods with apostrophe S on it, for I am a jealous God." But wait a minute, didn't I just say jealous, envy, strife is something of a lower frequency? So why would a loving God have that attribute?
Exactly.
See, that's what ask themselves. See, but they don't. They believe God, God gonna save me. That's what I tell. Man, when your mama had cancer, where was Jesus at? When my daughter died, where was Jesus? Straight through the neck. Where was Jesus at then?
Right.
He died. Well, I thought he was saved. You know.
Right.
But that's what I wanted.
No,
Go back and see what she was doing.
That's exactly right. You know what I'm saying? That was one of the major things with me. The first commandment, God says, thou shalt have no God. It's a two-part thing. I've noticed now that they try to just say the first part. Even if you Google it, you're gonna have to Google sometimes twice, because they only want to say the first part. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. But it's the second part. Thou shalt have no other gods before me, because the Lord your God is a jealous God. And when I read that, you know what I'm saying? I was like, jealous. And I was young at the time. And I was a jealous man. And so when I read that God was jealous, I started looking. That's kind of put me on the path to like, hold on, something wrong here. Because I know how jealousy makes me feel. It's not a good feeling. And if you've ever been jealous before, I want you to think about the one you praying to openly admits that he is jealous too. How the fuck can somebody that's a flaw. It's actually one of the 7 deadly sins, jealousy. It's a flaw, it's a sin. And your God claims it as one of his characteristics. One of his characteristics. You see what I'm saying? Jealousy makes you murder, as in the story of Cain and Abel. Just turn on the news and see how many of those murders is caused by jealousy. Go into a women's prison and ask, I guarantee you a lot of women are in there because they done did some shit out of jealousy. Murder, maim somebody, stab some woman, shot somebody. And your God tells you he's jealous. And this is not a red flag to you. This is not a red flag to you. So you sitting up here telling me a jealous dude is going to save your ass. That's what you're saying. Wake up. If in Leviticus, read the first couple chapters of Leviticus. Leviticus is about them giving offerings to God. When they give the offers to God, the food offerings, all right, I'm wiser now, obviously, right? 30 years of research. Of course, now I would say, why does God need food offerings? Unless he's going to fucking eat them. Think about it for a second. Cain and Abel. Is there a fucking store on there some goddamn place? Huh? So if God is not eating the food, why is he asking for food and meat offerings from people that must grow and catch their own food? Does this make any fucking sense to anybody? And your preachers and pastors will spin this shit to say he wanted to test their loyalty or some shit. Really? So you're taught that God is all seeing and all knowing like fucking Santa Claus. He sees you when you sleeping. He knows when you awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for a grip. Are you fucking serious? Why does he need to test if he knows? Why would you make Abraham sacrifice his son if you already knew Abraham was loyal?
Why would Jesus have to go back to get answers if he was supposed to be the all-knowing one?
Well, we know Jesus wasn't God. Jesus taking orders. All right. But here go. We're not using common sense. This is why you don't go to church. They lying to you. If you wanna know some shit, join the School of Esoteric Knowledge. We're gonna get to this Bible. But you need to know all the other texts that they don't want you to know. That's
hey,
what
bro,
we do.
can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the garden. Remember, Adam and Eve were naked in the garden. They had no clothing on. So after they ate of the fruit, all of a sudden they realized, oh, we're naked.
Right.
So they went and grabbed fig leaves and put upon their bodies. Well, here comes God walking in the garden. God, first of all, spirits don't walk.
Right.
And he said, Adam, where art thou?
He didn't know.
Responded, Master, we hid because we had no clothes on.
That's two
the
strikes.
first red flag would be, wait a minute, aren't you omnipotent, omnipotent, and know every damn thing?
That's two
So
strikes.
you have known where I was?
In that one turn, he should have known where they was, and he should have knew why they was hiding. And he didn't.
Exactly.
He doesn't know
Right.
anything.
So that's a red flag right there.
Yeah. He
I just
doesn't
want to put that out there.
Yeah. All these inconsistencies, people, if you would just read, like dude said, just read Genesis. If you just read, you will see you're not praying to a God. You are praying to a fake and a phony. Ain't it is? Ain't nobody. Show of hands. God answered your prayers. You got some niggas that gonna be like, yeah, he answered my prayers. Right. Right. Let's remember something. Ain't none of our prayers being answered over starving babies in Africa. And if starving babies in Africa can't get their prayers answered to stop starving, they just want something to eat. They can't even get their prayers answered, and they are innocent. So why would God be answering your fucking prayers when you fucking suck and do all the fucking sinning and shit that you do every day? Huh? So to say God answered your prayers is to say you better than a baby. And let me tell you something, if ain't nobody else told you, you fucking ain't. You fucking ain't. You see what I'm saying? Genesis chapter 2, verse 10. This is God speaking. A river flows out of Eden to water the garden. Talking about the Garden of Eden. And from there it divides and becomes 4 branches. The name of the first is Pishon. It is the one that flows around the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good, said God. Bdellium and onyx stone are there as well. Now in the book of Enoch, Enoch described one of the heavens as housing mountains of precious metals. Gold, silver, and copper, he said. And so I say this all the time. I say, what, God is trading on the Forex now? He's collecting precious metals? But if he was God, he created. Didn't God create the precious metals? Why is God pulling precious metals from earth if he created precious metal? Can't he just create it if he needs it or wants it for some reason? Why would God even want anything that he created since he created it? It don't make sense. In the book of Leviticus, with the offerings and stuff like that, you know what God says? He says, give the leftover to Aaron and his sons. Do you know what a leftover is? A leftover is something that was partially consumed. So now you want to know why when you read the book of Leviticus and God is giving specific instructions on how to prepare the bread with oil, just like at Olive Garden. You know, when you go to Olive Garden, they bring out the bread with the oil. Just like at Olive Garden. And then he says, what I don't eat, give to Aaron and his sons. So now you're praying to a God that eats, and if he eats, he poops and shits and hopefully wipes his fucking ass. And all these dumb niggas talking about angels. Well, 2 angels went to go see Lot to warn them to get out of the city. And what did Lot do with those angels? Feed them. So here you have instances where your God is eating food, angels are eating food, which means what? They shit. Did not Jesus eat and drink wine? And you think these humans, some people think Jesus is God. You think these humans are God. You're not reading, you're not using your brain, you're not paying attention. The definition of insanity is to repeatedly keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. When I was in the joint, when I first got in the joint, I was praying because I was a good kid. Anybody know me and be like, you got in trouble? Pray. Prayer's not answered. You think I kept praying? The fuck I'm gonna keep praying for? You see what I'm saying? What I'm gonna pray for? Huh? I started to realize something. I'm not better than a baby who wants to eat and is starving to death. There's people in Africa burying their kids because they ain't got nothing to eat. And if God ain't hearing them prayers, fuck I think he gonna listen to me for? And he don't. Motherfuckers, look, niggas in the church and praying and all that shit. You ever used to watch those old boxing matches where the white dude and the black dude was boxing? The whole crowd is white though. The black dude is whipping his ass. All the white people stay seated. The white dude get in a lucky shot. Bam! All the people in the crowd stand up. Yay! Then they have to sit back down because the black dude start whipping them. That's how I be envisioning. That's how you pray. That's niggas believing in God. They beg God all their life, and then something good happened to them, and they attribute it to God and be like, yeah, God is good. But all your life, if we was to put your life on a timeline, God done answered your prayers less than 1%. Every single last one of you. And here go the kicker. When they tell you, oh, you gotta take 2 steps toward God. No, nigga, you actually got to run, 2 goddamn miles or some shit. So I'm about to take 2 steps toward him, and ain't nothing that I ever got came from God. Everything I got came from me. And everything you got came from you. Niggas kill me with that shit. I want to thank God for waking me up this morning. You would have woke up without thanking him. The church has made you turn everything that you do, giving away your power to somebody else. Somebody who told you he was jealous. Somebody who eats food and shits and hopefully wipe his ass because, they really like Vikings. The niggas you praying to is like some fucking Vikings. I guarantee you they probably don't wipe their ass. They on a journey, people. That's why they was above the water, the Elohim. That's why they built a dome inside the water. They are on a mission to collect precious metals. You was created to be slaves to go get the precious metals. That's why you was created. Is gold the most expensive or useful metal on the planet? No. But gold is what they wanted. Motherfuckers don't understand business concepts, supply and demand. Why do you think ancient Egypt had so much gold? Because I keep telling you, ancient Egypt was ruled by who? Alien elongated skulls. King Tut, head out to here. They just show you the front. I'm in Otep or whatever his name is. Head skull out to here. Humans don't have skulls out to here. It's green and blue people on the walls of the hieroglyphs. All right, green and blue and black and white. So they had black. Well, they painted the black people brown. They painted the white people white. So where the green and the blue people come from? Why is there a sarcophagus out of ancient Egypt with Marge Simpson on the goddamn coffin of a 2,000-year-old sarcophagus? Why is Marge Simpson on a coffin with a blue high top, white skin, and wearing the same green shit she wear on The Simpsons? Why is that? Nigga, you got to put all of this shit together, man. You got to put all of this, you got to connect the dots. There's nobody coming to save you. All right? All this is a repetitive cycle. You live, you die, you reincarnate, unless you get knowledge during your lifetime about how not to reincarnate inside of a dome underwater and return your soul back to creation where it came from. Damn, I've been talking for 2 hours. Oh, no, an hour. Okay. I'm about to say. Because we got to get into the book of Enoch today, y'all. We didn't do much last week because I was running my mouth, but we got to get into that book today. Because to be honest with you, we got the conference we got to watch. It was something else, but that conference is like 6 hours. We're not going to get through it in one sitting. That might take 3 sittings, you know. But we got to get to this book. So I'm going to shut up. But that was my little soliloquy, all right, for today to encourage you. It don't take much. If you just read the first, that's why I made the movie. The movie 7 Days that hardly nobody bought. Go on my website, get the movie 7 Days. What is 7 days? It is the first 7 days of creation. It is me pointing out all this stuff to you. It's a documentary. It's not just me talking. It is a documentary with videos and shit like that. All right? Breaks it all down for you. From the first day to the 7th day. Because in those 7 days of creation, about where you live, who made you, why they made you, and all of that stuff. If you watch, look, trust me, anybody that watched the movie 7 Days, if you go to church, you ain't going to church no more. You're going to realize you've been wasting your time and your money, and you've been letting these preachers and pastors fill your head with fucking straight up bullshit nonsense. Do it ever dawn on y'all that they stay in that fucking New Testament? I went to church every Sunday. I know what they do. They stay in the New Testament. Only time they dip in that Old Testament is to pull some verses out, usually out of Psalms or some shit like that. But they don't go deep into no, like Rod said, you read Genesis in church, you out your goddamn mind. They ain't about to read this book. They still got niggas in church believing Adam and Eve is the first humans. They not about to read. They're not about to read. I done heard plenty of preachers say, what did Adam do? Adam and Eve, the first. You know what I'm saying? You actually got preachers that believe that. And I don't know if they just saying that because they feel their crowd is stupid, or if they themselves are dumb and don't know that the first humans was created on the 6th day. You know, because you gotta remember,
They're just stupid.
yeah, you got to remember, going back,
We have artillery. They keep you a certain way. You can't go this way. You have to pay attention to the instruction.
and going back, you got to remember something. A lot of preachers, they didn't go to theological school. They had the so-called calling. Oh, you got the calling.
Yeah.
You got the calling.
All you gotta do is go to your bishop or I somebody. I authority.
Because you'll fall for anything.
You fucking idiot. Get the fuck off my page. Talking that Jesus shit. This nigga talking about Jesus died for your sins. Can't nobody die for your sins, you stupid bitch. Get the fuck off my page.
People still under the curses of the spell in the churches. This is why the pastors keep on doing this. The business of, casting a spell.
Nigga talking about Jesus died for your sins. How the fuck somebody gonna die for your sins? Huh? Then what about the babies that die without sin? How the fuck Jesus told you, I didn't come to change the law, I came to fulfill it. So what law is he talking about? His daddy's law. And whatever his daddy said, that's what goes. So all these niggas about a new covenant and all that bullshit, that come from your preacher. That don't come out of Jesus' mouth. That come from your preacher lying to you. Jesus said, I came to bring the sword. I did not come to bring peace on earth. I came to put mother against daughter and father against son. Shit, I know the Bible too. I done read it 5 times. Goddamn idiots, man. Idiots.
Yeah.
Jesus is not saving nobody. If you think he gonna save you, look, they don't call Jesus the sheep herder for nothing. What do we call idiots today? Sheeple, right? What's a sheeple?
Yeah, sheeple, yeah.
A fucking person that you think it's a fucking coincidence that Jesus is the sheep herder and you are the sheeple? You think that's a coincidence? Do you really think that's a coincidence? I tell them motherfuckers there's no such thing as a coincidence.
Yeah.
That's them laughing in your stupid ass faces. They laughing in your face.
Because Jesus gave a command to Peter. He said, Peter, feed my sheep. And that's what Peter did. He gave them the word that Jesus wanted them to have.
And
they were sheep.
That's exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, if people want to believe that, that's on them, man. You can lead people to the well, but you can't make them drink. My whole thing is you cannot, if you saying the Bible is real, you can't sit up here and fucking pick and choose which verses you want to be real. You know what I'm saying? You can't choose that. You still got people who call themselves Christians, and yet they believe we live on a round planet. How the fuck you a Christian and you ain't gonna believe your God who told you, I put you in a dome underwater. You live in a dome under this fucking water. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Oh, really? Oh, really? God said you got to be married. Really? That's not what he told the very first humans. He didn't tell them to be married. He said, go fuck and suck and have babies. He didn't even say you got to pray to me. He didn't even say that. He said none of that. He just made them and said, go out there and have fun.
And think about it, family. The Old Testament, all they talk about is offering.
Yeah.
Offering,
right. Sex and offerings. And killing people. And killing people. You know what I'm saying? That's all God was talking about. Let's kill some motherfuckers. And I'm a jealous dude. Yeah. I mean, people not reading, man. You know, see, that's why I read the Quran when I joined Islam, I read the entire Quran in full because I said, I'm not going to fall for that bullshit that I fell for in Christianity. I'm going to read this whole book and understand what I'm getting into when I take this oath. The only problem was I was still under the indoctrination that I have to submit to somebody. That was the only problem. So I went into Islam and was there for 10 years, you know, because I still believed that it was somebody above me that I had to submit to. But when I learned that what Jesus actually meant when he said, did I not tell you, or, you know, in your law is written that I told you, ye are gods, you are gods. When I finally realized what he was saying, he was talking about the soul. The soul is God. The soul lives on, right? So if the soul lives on, and the only thing we know that lives on is creation, the soul comes from creation. So if you call the source of creation God, let's just say, that means I'm God. That means I don't need to submit to creation because guess what? I'm a part of creation. So to submit to creation is to submit to myself. And I don't need to do that. I don't even need to pray to creation because creation is in me. And I don't need to pray to myself. This is why they tell you about the laws of manifestation, the laws of attraction, the 48, 48 powers of laws or whatever the book is. All right. It's all in you, fam. Even in this physical life, because the body is a cage, the body is a prison. But even in this physical 3D world that we live in, where you can touch and all of that, you still are God. And anything you want, anything, you can have it. Just go get it. Just go get it. And when you die and your soul is out there, you don't submit to nothing. There are forces coming at you that's going to try to trick you and make you submit. You submit to nothing. And you bang if you have to bang. But understand, they don't want you to bang because they recognize the power in you. That's why everybody that see the light, they say, oh, it filled me with such overwhelming love. I was so calm and peaceful. Yeah, because they don't want you to get upset. And most people don't know this. So when I die, I'm already going into the after. A nigga bet not even show his goddamn face because I'm going to have a fucking attitude because I know what the fuck I can do. I'm God, nigga. A motherfucker, they just better open the goddamn gate and say, look, we don't want no static, man. Just go on here. Because really what's on my mind is shaking the foundations of earth off of this fucking axle because you live in a dome underwater. I want to turn this bitch over, to be honest with you. So they see my black ass, they better just be like, go ahead, man. You go back. You go back to creation. We ain't gonna stop you. Because I'm gonna fuck some shit up. I get angry. I don't like bullies. That shit make me mad. And I don't like deceitful people or none of that shit. So if the archive bullshit, it's gonna be hell to pay. It's gonna be hell to pay. I'm gonna take it very offensively. I'm gonna take it extremely offensively. You know? But these idiots on here like that nigga, talking about Jesus died for your sins. Man, when the last time somebody in the system did anything for you? So let me get this straight. Jesus came down here to die for people's sins, but he can't do shit about starving babies in Africa because they've been starving since the beginning of time. I mean, he fed 4,000 motherfuckers with a couple of pieces of loaves or something, right? But that only fed people for one day. The real miracle would have been teach these motherfuckers how to fish so that they can eat after your ass is gone. You give a person a day. Oh, my bad. My bad, YouTube. I keep forgetting y'all got that. But you know, this ain't made for, this is not for kids. I did put that on there. But you teach a person to fish, they eat for a lifetime. Jesus only fed them people that day. Well, I know the crowds gathered and that's what the whole thing was, but hell, they didn't bring no food with them. My point is, we really, you know, people have to really start paying attention. All right, it's 2026. Google is that you got a computer, a very powerful computer in your hand that you use to just take pictures with. Get the heck out of here with that BS. You know what I'm saying? You can Google instances in the verses in the Bible that show God is human. And there'll be a whole list that pop up. He eats food on multiple occasions. He eats food, telling you his, you know, he's jealous and he's angry. Do you know? I'm gonna see if you know this verse. I ran across it. I don't know it no more, Raj. Do you remember a verse in the Bible where Moses actually checked God because this was after he rescued him? God wanted to kill some more of them. And Moses was like, said something like, but these your these your followers and stuff. Why don't you have so little patience with them? It was something he said like that. And he actually checked God.
When Abraham pleaded with him and he wanted to destroy
you say, both of y'all was talking, what you say?
When he was pleading with, Abraham was pleading with God not to destroy the people. If he went down to, if you could find 10 people that were righteous, I will not destroy the city. And Abraham could not find any, so Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. Is that what you're referring to?
No, it was Moses. It was
a book of Exodus when Moses freed people from Egypt, and as it was like going on that journey across the desert, and it was like Moses' patience was not Moses' patience with the king, but God's patience with the king. They didn't want to bring the wrath and the famine and all that. Moses was like, damn, you can't really give you a little time to like make sure the people, you know what I mean, gather themselves and make sure they're good. And you know, he couldn't really find the time to do this because people were in a distraught after it was free from Egypt, going on a journey.
Oh, yeah, you talking. Yeah, now think about it. When they were complaining about
complaining about the whole journey and the trip, right?
Yeah, I just know that God wanted to kill some people, and Moses was like, you know, he checked and then changed, and God changed his mind. So I looked at that verse and I'm like, if you're the creator, how could your creation how could your creation be more, I don't even know what the fucking word is. Ooh, sorry. I don't know what the sensible? Is that the word? Your creation is more sensible than you are? And then change your mind. You're supposed to be God. Don't you know all, see all of this stuff? And you couldn't figure this out? It took Moses to say, whoa, calm down, man. You don't got to kill everybody. Can't you take it easy? Can't you be patient? You know, look what they've been through. And God said, you know, I will not do this. And is that not the only time that somebody has told God something and God said, no, it's a couple of instances. I know that somebody talked to God and God said, okay, I won't do that. Can any of them pop in your head, Raj? Anybody?
But he didn't check it, but he did like, yo, since I'm not going to talk to you in front of the people, matter of fact, I'm going to have a private talk with you. Matter of fact, go in front of mine and Sinai. I'm going to talk to you private. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When we go to the mountain of Sinai, when was that time? And the people came to him like, yo, what happened? I not talking to you no more? Like, we can't get a word. He was like, matter of fact, you know what I mean? You want to go to the mountain to talk, I have a private talk with a burning bush and all that. That's when he went up there and come back on with the 10 Commandments. They're like, oh, this is what we're going to do. We're going to not steal, not steal,
Right.
all the commandments and rules come down. After he had the private talk, when he did what he did.
And to speak on that burning bush thing, here's something. Before God descended down on Mount Sinai, he told Moses to build a fence, a barrier around the mountain
right.
to keep the people away so that they won't get smited when God comes down on the mountain. All right. So to put that in modern terms, he told Moses, build a fence around the mountain to keep the people back so that when I land in my spaceship, they won't get burnt up. All right. But of course, the Bible didn't say that. The Bible said so that God in all his glory wouldn't burn the people up. All right. Now, a few passages just after that, it's like they be putting this shit in your head, in your face to see if you even paying attention. A few passages after that, what do God say? He's in the burning bush. So let me get this straight. You could not contain yourself when you came down on the mountain from burning up everybody so much that you had to make Moses build a fence, but you were able to contain yourself and burn just the bush and not burn everybody else. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. You see what I'm saying? It makes no sense. So, but it makes sense when you say, well, maybe God was in a spaceship, a rocket, which is when we watch rockets take off from Cape Canaveral in Florida, don't they have a fence around the takeoff spot so that the people don't get too close and get burned? It's all there. The signs is all there, all throughout the Bible, that you're not dealing with some spiritual entity. You're dealing with a flesh and blood being calling himself God. He's not all seeing and he's not all knowing of anything. Just like Raj brought up in the Garden of Eden, when Adam and Eve ate the apple, God didn't know that they ate the apple. He didn't even know where they were. He didn't even know who told them. He asked a series of questions to find out answers. Because of why? You think he was playing with Adam and Eve? Where are you? They wasn't playing hide and seek. He really didn't know where they was. They was hiding. Who told you to do that? He didn't know the serpents did it until they told him. And the serpent told on God. He effectively said, he's a liar. He's lying to you. If you eat that apple, you're not going to die. You're going to wake up. You're going to become like us, gods. And who told you that the Bible, that this wasn't a literal meaning? Your preachers and pastors. Oh, that's not what it meant. God was speaking metaphorically that humanity, they done built a whole religion off of this main lie right here. Man died spiritually. And not one person said, what the hell does that even mean, man? Explain that to me. What died spiritually? Explain that to me. Because I got a soul. And you still telling me my soul go to heaven. So how did man die spiritually? Explain that nonsense. See, they say stuff that don't even make sense because they know you ain't going to question them. I guarantee you, one of you stand up in that church and say, I got a question, and say one of these things, they will escort your butt out of there. And I wouldn't care if you thought the preacher was your best friend. Because that's poison to the rest of the people. So if you stand up and say, I thought God was all seeing and all knowing, but he didn't know where Adam and Eve was hiding at. Somebody go get him. Because the next thing is other people in the crowd gonna do what? Yeah, that's
They're
right.
gonna be like, that's a demon, take him out the house.
Nah, some of them gonna be like, you know what? That's right. I was thinking the same thing. They gonna get you out. They gonna get you out of there.
Around them and bring them all out there.
Think about it. You go got all these attackers there, all the congregation people in the front.
I used to date a blind girl. I dated a blind girl that went to a Seventh-day Adventist church. I come over her house one day. She's listening to the 10 Commandments. I point out to her that jealousy is one of the 7 deadly sins. It's a human characteristic. It's a flaw. And why would God be telling you that he's jealous? Who is he jealous of? Like, there's nobody for him to even be jealous of because he created everybody. So why is this man jealous? You see what I'm saying? To be jealous, you must have somebody to be jealous of. And jealousy is what? Let's break down what jealousy means. Jealousy means the person that's jealous thinks there's another person that's better than him. That's what jealousy means. You're not jealous of somebody that's lower than you or who you consider to be less than. You only get jealous of an equal or someone that the jealousy person considers greater than. So that would mean for God to tell you that he's jealous, there is somebody else equal to or better than him. And if he's the creator, who did you make on your level? Who did you create that's better than you? Nobody. You see what I'm saying? So I told her to go in there and ask her preacher about that. You know what they told that blind girl? Don't ever get out, and don't you ever come back to this church again. And she called me when she got home crying. You got me put out of church. I said, no, I woke you up. I woke you up. I'm not going to leave you stranded. I'm going to take you a little bit further on this so you can understand it's not real. It's not real. And they know it's not real. They don't want you poisoning the rest of the people and get them to start asking questions. You got to realize, just like Rod said, this is a business. This is a business. And please understand, you're not the first person to wake up. These churches and preachers, they done dealt with people that done woke up before and start asking questions. And if they can't get you back into the fold, you got to leave. You got to leave. They're not about to have you around here talking to other people saying this stuff. They're going to tell you, you're not welcome here no more. You got to leave. When I was going to Sunday school and I started having all these questions and I was asking my Sunday school teacher, she complete idiot. All I got from her was the sayings. And see, they invented these sayings to get idiots to stay idiots. Well, the Lord works in mysterious ways. Oh, don't question God. What the fuck? What are you doing? You don't question God. Fear God. Don't question him. You fear him. So I'm just supposed to be afraid of somebody. And yet I still call myself a man. I don't even know why I'm scared. Why should I even be scared? Why would he do anything to me if all I'm doing is asking questions? None of this stuff makes sense. So we got to like wake up. You got to read. And this ain't no mysterious book. Read. Look, who invented language? God. Did not God come down at the Tower of Babel and scramble the languages, which means what? He created. So when you hear your preacher and pastor say ABC is not ABC, is actually, DTA or something, because this is what your preachers and pastors do. They're going to tell you, when you read this book like a book from front to back, like you're supposed to read it, and you run across stuff like, oh, God is jealous. What the? And they tell you, well, you know, he didn't mean that. What he meant was, you know, your car, you know, you could put your car before God, or you could put your wife before God, or, you know, that's what he meant by, you know, stuff like that. Your next response should be, so you think for God now, huh? That's interesting. So you know what God meant. See, when they say you wrong and they say that's not what God meant, twisting his words, this is what God meant. Oh, so you know what God meant, huh? So you read God's mind. Because I can read too. And what you telling me is not what it says right here. So you know what I'm thinking, right? You know what I meant. What your parents used to tell you. I mean what I say, and I said what I meant. So why do you let a preacher tell you what God meant? You know what God meant?
Something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Raj.
Okay, Proverbs 9:10, it states, the fear of the Lord is wisdom. Now, with that being said, they teach you to fear the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
The fear is in the Bible over 300 some odd times. I can't remember exactly how, but I do know it's over 300 some times.
Right.
So fear is part of the control mechanism with religion. Wait a minute, Raw. If you do that, you're gonna go to hell. Don't you do that, Raw? Fear the Lord.
That's right.
They're gonna tell you.
And you know, from watching, I love gangster movies. And you know, one of the proverbs, I think this was in that De Niro movie with Joe Pesci, where he said, would you rather be feared or loved? He said fear. Fear lasts longer than love. You see what I'm saying? And that's what people, you know, y'all, how can, you know what be killing me is people be like, I love God, I love Jesus. You love an invisible you love an invisible person. You know, an imaginary friend. You got an imaginary friend. And if that's not crazy enough, now you say you love this imaginary friend. But when your children is saying that they got an imaginary friend, which is actually a real thing, because the child can see the entities up until about age 7. And so just like my daughter had an imaginary friend, we call them imaginary friend. They're not really imaginary because they can see them. Your kid can actually see the person that's talking to them. That's why you see videos on social media of kids saying, he right there. And the parent like, where? I don't see anybody. And the kid is like, he right there. You think your kid is having a psychotic episode? You know what I'm saying? We're not paying attention. We're not taking stuff seriously because, you know, our own indoctrination is leaking over into real world stuff. Kids is actually seeing what you call an imaginary friend. They talking to them, they seeing them. And I done posted videos of little girls actually in a tug of war with an invisible entity that's talking to her over a jug of candy or whatever it was she had in her hand. Actually in a tug of war with an invisible entity caught on tape. But you people talking about you love God and love Jesus, all that. He ain't even talking to you. At least the entity is talking to the kid. The kid ain't just talking to itself. He talking to the entity. You, on the other hand, you're talking to yourself. Oh, I love Jesus. Oh, Jesus, this is it. Oh, God, please do. Oh, God. You are talking to yourself. Ain't nobody talking to you. Especially God or Jesus. Ain't said one word to you. Because if he did, you'd be running all over the place telling everybody. And then they'll lock your ass up. Now, why would they lock you up like my brother is locked up? Because God told him to go sit in the middle of a street a main street at that, and just sit down. God told him to do it. You can't have it both ways. Because if you really say, any of you people know that if you say, God talk to me, people going to think you crazy. Because everybody expects, everybody knows, not expect, God ain't talking to nobody. But you believe God and y'all talk to God, and if he was actually to talk back to you, they will put you in a crazy home. Make this make sense. Which means what? The system, everybody knows that God don't talk to people. And these are the same people that'll turn around and go to church and talk to God.
Well, let me elaborate on that a little bit there for you, Rraw. You see, this morning I was led to preach out of Matthew 24, where it talks about nation against nation. But then God spoke to me and told me to go to chapter 3, where the fall of man began. That's the reason why. I don't see too many pastors do that, man. I was real. Whatever scripture I decided to study that night, when I got up that morning, that's what I preached. I didn't go to that. Well, God spoke to me and told me to tell you. No, I didn't do that. No. But that's where it comes from. Preach.
Rraw said, ask any pastor or you get anybody, why are you going to read this first book, first chapter? Just ask them that. Like you said, you always stay in the New Testament covenants, speaking from Matthew, Luke, and John, right? But so ask them, why don't you read that? That's going to be the thing they see. They start the quietness and go back to referring to Matthew, John, because they already know the truth, but of course.
And you know what I used to always think about too? You know, I used to always say, ain't nobody seen or heard of God or Jesus or nobody in over 2,000 years. Like, that's a long time. Why you don't just appear in the sky and just say, hey, I'm still watching y'all or whatever? I mean, you can't take 5 seconds out of your busy day to tap into the world and say, I'm still watching y'all. I mean, just 5 seconds of that would make the whole world probably, be good for another 1,000 years or something, or at least 100 years, because everybody be talking about, man, did you see God, man, God, yeah, all those news, everything. That little thing right there, gosh, everything, wouldn't it? Of course it would. And yet, this guy this dude was making appearance after appearance in the Bible, in the Old Testament. He was just all over the place. I'm surprised he wasn't on the Jay Leno show or something, or whatever, right? He was everywhere. He was putting in cameos everywhere, right? If TV was on back then, he would have been a superstar because he was everywhere. They would have made a reality show out of this dude.
Yeah.
Yet, we ain't seen or heard of nobody in 2,000 years. Could it possibly be because humanity is not as stupid as we were 2,000 years ago? So if Jesus was to come today and walk on water, would we not investigate to see how he's doing this? Would we not be more investigative? What if he had, in the Talmud of Emmanuel, what does it say? Jesus was going up and down on UFOs, right? And they dropped Jesus here, they dropped Jesus there. How do we know Jesus wasn't even walking on a UFO? I mean, obviously, they had the technology. They was taking them places all over the world. We don't know. I don't think Jesus, and look, the healing people, the raising people from the dead, the Anunnaki explain in the Sumerian text that after they have a battle where their soldiers die, listen closely, because there's no such thing as coincidences. After they have a battle when their soldiers die, they return back to the battlefield and revive their soldiers. It must be done within how many days? 3 days. How many days did Jesus take to? 3 days. You think that's a coincidence? No. No. Who sent Jesus? They sent Jesus. Why wouldn't Jesus have their technology? You see what I'm saying?
I don't see how Jesus was okay being sacrificed in the first place.
I mean, that's if we can believe history.
Because he said,
You know what I'm saying? Let's be clear. Let's be clear about something. Let's be clear about something. Nobody knows if Jesus was crucified. We don't know that. You want to know why we don't know that? Because the 4 gospels that say Jesus is crucified, who wrote them? You think
Unknown author.
unknown authors. Just because the books are named Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John never signed those books. Those books, if you Google it right now, those books are unnamed books. So now you have to follow the money trail. You know, so you got some unnamed books that a whole religion is founded upon, and you don't think the Catholic Church sat down and wrote those books? Come on, man. You got a whole religion. We talking billions and trillions of dollars.
And people.
How gullible is people, man? You got to be gullible.
That's what I was telling Rod.
You got to be gullible.
The biggest influence. You got 2 billion blind people following.
This is blindly following. You don't know if Jesus was crucified. The Jews claim to have found the Ashua of Jesus Christ. They did a whole PBS special on it. Ted Kopp. I still got my old. I really actually still got my old DVR player that has that on there. But you can go on YouTube and find this. You can go on YouTube and just type in Jesus bones found. They're gonna show you the whole documentary. They found the tomb. They found his tomb with Mary Magdalene bones in there, Mary his mother bones in there, and Jesus' brothers in there. And then they did a thing like, you know, a calculation on what's the odds of these specific people all being in the same tomb. It's astronomical.
So do you believe that?
Yeah. I believe they found it. Over the tomb is a symbol. A pyramid like this with a circle in the middle. A pyramid with a circle in the middle.
That was the rock. That was the rock that we used, the big circle rock.
And then you got to remember something. Jesus went to India. All right.
Right, he did.
According to the Talmud of Emmanuel.
At the age of 12, he went to India.
Yeah, that he went to India and supposedly he died in India. In the Talmud, though, they say the mother died someplace else, I think, and I don't know if Mary died with him or something. I don't know. I look at that though as his body is definitely here. All right. If you think he like, but then again, according to the Talmud, they could have just took him up. They took Enoch
Yeah.
They took
True.
Enoch. They took Enoch up, and who else? Was it Abraham or who was the other one?
Elijah.
Elijah. Yeah,
Elijah.
Elijah.
When he left.
Right.
When it means
And so after what we learned in the Pistis Sophia, we know the heavens are not heavens where only dead souls go. Real people actually live up there.
Look, the funny thing is, Enoch wanted to follow Elijah to go up there, because when he was a witness saying, "Oh, a chariot of fire," which is the spaceship, the spacecraft coming up here.
Yeah.
Elijah too, the spacecraft. But he was like, what Enoch wanted to follow Elijah to, and he was, he the rank that Enoch was under Elijah the prophet. But when Elijah got abducted too, he wanted the aliens to come back, like, yo, like, I'm trying to be worthy to go to the heavens.
And then,
but I was going to throw that out there.
And then what did Jesus say in the Pistis Sophia? He said he was, who did he say he was? Elijah? He said, remember he said he was there at the beginning when he was there at the beginning.
Through David.
David. Who he say he was David?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Jesus is all about reincarnating. So, and if you don't believe that, just go on YouTube and look up near-death experiences. Everybody that see Jesus, what did Jesus do? He take them into the light. If you go into the light, you're going to be reincarnated. That's why they call Jesus the sheep herder, to herd the sheeple into the light. Jesus works for his daddy. I don't know why people think Jesus don't work for his daddy. He worked for his daddy. Who sent him? His daddy. Do you think Christians are under the belief that the Father sent Jesus to change some stuff? Why do you think that? Why do you think Jesus came to change the order that his Father put down? He did not. That's why Jesus said, I came to fulfill the law. I didn't come to change it. That would be the laws that his Father gave to Moses. And if that was not so, why does Jesus give you the Lord's Prayer that says, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Did he say did Jesus say, you should pray like this? Jesus is God and it's my will that's going to be done, not my daddy will. Y'all going to do my will. We're doing a new covenant. Essay what my father was saying. I'm running this BI now. We're going to do what I want. Did Jesus say anything remotely close to that? No. So where do you get a new covenant from? Where do you get that Jesus is going to save your sins? Or die for your sins? Where do you get this from? The church. Why you don't think the church is lying to you? I don't know. How is it 4 different people, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, all tell the same exact story? When we clearly know if 4 people watch a car accident, you're going to get 4 different stories. Because people don't see things the same. And that's a car accident. You think the crucifixion of a man that all these people would say the exact same thing, nobody would have nothing extra or different to say? I got a degree in psychology. So if you don't know the ramifications of that, absolutely 0% that would happen. Because people do not see things the same. They just don't. People don't process things the same. That's why they got a book out. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. People don't look, see, or process things the same. So you got 4 gospels that's written by unknown authors And they saying the same exact thing.
That Jesus knew would happen in the future.
Yeah, and that too. But they saying the same exact same thing. Impossible. See, this is what y'all don't understand. The church could get that stuff off 2,000 years ago when they did it. But you can't, for, you know, and not to be racist, but we, you know, for black people, we got to go there. Why on earth would you think your Christian slave master who was beating you, whipping you, raping you, chopping limbs off, you know, doing some of the most detestable things you could even imagine that I'm not even going to repeat. This person gave you niggas, this Bible, and you niggas, our ancestors. That's why don't talk that ancestor bullshit to me. F the ancestors. They the reason why we in this damn position in the first place. And our ancestors start immediately with our parents who took a religion and thrust it on us and made us believe in some BS that they didn't even have sense enough to check out themselves. They just following the crowd.
They were too vulnerable.
And that go all the way back to slavery times, which you look at. Why would they accept this from that person thinking that he gave them something good? Did he ever give them something good before? You ate slop. You ate pig intestines and things of this nature. Your food wasn't even good, which you adapted to, and now everybody on Christmas and Thanksgiving wants some of that slop. Adapting is one thing, but this, passing this down, our ancestors was wrong for that. They was weak for that. And just like Kanye West said, they chose slavery. Because the Indians didn't choose slavery. The Indians said, lock me up.
Yeah, we're going to fight to the death. That's exactly what
Put chains on me. Is you out your mind? You have to kill me. You ain't putting no chains on me. I ain't going for that one. And then work? Where they do that at? So when you hear them people talking about, oh, the ancestors is talking, I don't want to hear nothing they got to say. They brought this. So that tell me what the ancestors was on. They was some dumb niggas. Let's just be real. Some stupid. I mean, you're not even dumb at this point. You got to be the most stupidest nigga ever to think that your captor is giving you the key to some type of freedom. He gave you a lie. He gave you a lie. A lie. And people are just now starting to wake up to the fact that, oh, the God in here, he eats food. He has human characteristics. Like he told you, he gets jealous.
You know what I'm confused about? It's how they were able to let go of the gods that they believed in once before.
Exactly.
I'm confused about that.
You know, many of the slaves did magic, what they call black magic. All right. And they demonified the black magic, which is really they stole it, and they replaced it with fake magic. Yeah, it was like a swap. Give me the secrets to your black magic, and I'll give you God.
But I don't understand how they would fall for that. I don't get it.
That's the $1 million question. Why would they fall for that? And yet drive through the hood, and there's practically a church on every corner, you know, storefront or whatever. You know, they were sold hope. They gave up see, magic is a real thing. It had immediate results. And they gave up that to start praying to the sky daddy who don't answer no prayers, don't get nobody nothing. And so
but
today,
with black magic, you would think that they would be able to free themselves, right?
They could have. They could have.
But they try to do that to the Indians, and guess what? They send all those type of
You know,
I know white British guy to the Indians, man, rich man. But they trying to believe me with the Indians of the rain god. Cause it was like, how you call up from
yeah, the Indians had magic too.
But hey man, hold on. So when they try to put the Bible shit to the Indians will realize the confusion. It's like, yo, we don't do that shit over here. We don't, you know what I'm saying? This is why they went back to their table and we got to take them out because, you know what I'm saying? They already know what's up. They're not trying to believe in the whole Bible and the God that we trying to put on them. Because they already know the whole blueprint what they was trying to do. And of course, they were trying to steal their magic too as well. As much as they sent it from us. But they already know what's up. And that's why they fight to the death.
Look at it from this one.
Like as if their gods let them down and they submitted to this new god because they felt betrayed by their old original gods.
Look at it like this. We got the benefit of hindsight for us, right? When you look at black people over, look at Africa, just look at black people on a timeline going back, hundreds of years, thousands of years. Black people are tribal in nature. This means they're going to fight each other, which means what? Ramification thinking. They don't trust each other. Very few want to come together as a whole because of the tribalness. And then the third part is we are just a very gullible type of people, like no other race. The Chinese, they don't believe in God, period. White people really don't believe in God. If they did, they never would have gave it to black people. You see what I'm saying?
But they clearly saw that it was the enemy, so it's so confusing.
So let's look at it from the real standpoint, because we here in the School of Esoteric Knowledge, we know the truth. So this was a plan by some Anunnaki, all right, to enslave, because there's, you got to realize when you look at the world, and especially over a timeline, if we believe that the Elohim, which is multiple beings, all right, if humankind was made in the image of the Elohim could never be one singular because you got a female. And that means the Elohim had to be at least one male and one female. And more than likely, the Elohim itself is different races of people. You see what I'm saying? And you got some people say, oh, these people came from this place, these people came from that place. The only real evidence we have, first of all, everybody came from someplace because the world ain't real. We don't live on a planet that just, millions of years and a human sprouted. That's not the case here. We live in a dome that was built underwater on purpose by the Elohim. All right. It says they created humankind. We don't know, you got people who say, oh, but the oldest fossils is black people. Well, all that means is black people was the first ones that they brought here. That's all it means. Because we live in a dome underwater. We don't live in a real place. All right. So that means black people was the first ones that they enslaved, that they made. And then, white, and then Asian. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. So when you look at it from, the knowledge that we know, Anunnaki is the one that created this planet and all, and they are the gods of the Bible and all of that stuff. Then you could see that what happened to black people in America, that's just some Anunnaki stuff. It was planned. It was planned to get the outcome that they have today. Guess what? If they don't give to the slave, they don't give that Bible to the slave does grow up and multiply here in America with everybody having the knowledge of how to use black magic. That's disaster for a system. You see what I'm saying? A system that seeks to control everybody. So And then what did they do after that? The missionaries invaded Africa, countries invaded Africa and introduced organized religion. They don't care whether it's Islam, Judaism, or, they just need to believe in something outside of themselves. So it's when you look at it like that, that's the big picture, then that's what you see. A control mechanism. You see what I'm saying? Now, like you just said, Luis, hold on. Is Luis here? No. All right. But now look at what you got. Nobody has the knowledge no more except the secret organizations, the Illuminati and them. You see what I'm saying? Nobody has, and they done twisted it and stuff. All right. But now nobody has that knowledge. Well, some people do in Haiti and stuff like that. They still got it, right? But, nobody in America, everybody in America is brainwashed. Everybody in America believes that it's some, God looking after them. And that he loves you. And that he wants to see you do good. And you say this as he puts hardship after hardship after hardship in your life, depending on what the race or your skin color, all type of different things is at play here.
But Raw, at the time that Yahweh made the covenant with the children of Israel in Egypt, was there slaves being pushed out of Egypt at that time that Yahweh made that covenant with?
Yeah, there was slaves all over the world, because every time like Babylon, whoever conquered somebody took slaves. You know what I'm saying? That was the way of the world back then. All right. But but the whole children of Israel and Yahweh thing, that is a Anunnaki coming to a group of enslaved people saying, if y'all, let's use modern terminology, not a new covenant, not a covenant with them, an agreement. I'm a alien being, and all of y'all Negroes is locked up. You want to be free? All right, I'm gonna be your God. You gonna pray to me. If you pray to me and do what I say, I'll get y'all free. Do we got a deal? The elders like, yeah, we got a deal. They would agree to anything, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? You enslaved. If one of these beings had came to the black slaves in America and said that, we will be praying to whoever right now. You see what I'm saying? That's no different with the children of Israel, with the Jews. An entity came to them and said, hey, this is what we're going to do for y'all. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And they made the agreement. They followed through. That's another thing Christians don't understand. This Yahweh ain't even your God. He's the Jews' God. In the Torah, in the Jewish Bible, Yahweh says, you are Goya, Goyim, beast. And that Yahweh is going to make you, like every Jew is going to get like what, 1,000 slaves or 2,000 slaves, something is written in a book. Y'all gonna be slaves. It's the same God. It's the same exact situation with the black slave. Here, people are praying to Yahweh, who made a covenant, a promise with the Jews, made a contract with the Jews that he gonna give y'all to the Jews to be slaves. And you sitting up here praying to the one that told them you're going to be a slave to one of these Jews. Make this make sense. People don't read. This is clear. This is in the Torah, the Jewish Bible. All you got to do is read. All these dummies. All these dummies are saying this. Tell me again how Jesus is going to save you when his daddy is telling you I'm gonna make all of y'all slaves to my crew that I made a contract with. Explain again how Jesus is gonna save you. Because Jesus works for his daddy. People are, you lying to yourself. See, when you let somebody else do your thinking, and that's what church is. Going to church is letting somebody else do your thinking. You trusting the pastor to tell you the truth, not knowing that he has an ulterior motive. And the bigger the pastor, the bigger the motive. You might get some truth out of a storefront preacher before you get some truth out of one of these dudes that preach at a big church. Big churches have big bills. Big churches, you didn't build that big church. You got a loan from the bank. A bank owned by Jews. Jews who say, you must preach what's in this book. And if you deviate from it, we will call in the loan on your church and shut it down. You ever seen a big church shutting down? I remember in Cleveland, I had a job working, going to pick up clothes at donation centers, right? And a church had shut down, a really nice church. It was like brand new. And I never could feel like, how does a church shut down? Because first of all, nobody builds a church just out the blue. You know, it's not like building a McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? You don't build a church based on, where it's located and all that. You build a church if you got followers. So usually churches start out small and they grow into a big building. Don't nobody just build. First of all, ain't nobody gonna give you a loan. You can't get a loan from a bank if you don't got a following. How you gonna pay the loan? You see what I'm saying? So nobody just builds a church. So when you see an empty church, please understand what just happened. The preacher deviated from this. Because they send people in there to sit down and listen. And when you deviate from it, it's in the contract that you sign. That you must preach the gospel. You must preach it like it is. You cannot start asking questions and saying, that's why your preachers do not go into Genesis or the Old Testament that much. They can't. They can't teach it in Sunday school. They can't. Their job is to steer you away from that and keep you centered on the four Gospels. Keep you centered on the Old Testament. They can't. Your preacher cannot.
And every time.
Yeah, they can't. Go ahead.
Every time they want to do a new edit, you realize they say, oh, they give you to the pastor say to the congregation, oh, we started from this book, or this type of book, when it was like an NIV or Kingsbury King James Version or New Testament. But anytime one of them make an edit where they want to go further down to the brainwash and all of that, they give it to the pastor to start up with a congregation. Because anybody who take a different Bible or deviate from something they're doing from the church, and somebody called on and they're like, oh, you read that book, right? You never read the book the pastor read it. What are you doing? And all of that stuff.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because here go another tactic that the churches use. All right. The churches you ever wonder, look, this is the book I had in college, in the joint. This book that was like 30 years ago. This book is about 30 years old. Notice how it reads modern. It don't say firmament, it say dome and stuff like that. It's modernized, right? I remember being in church. You couldn't read that old English. All right.
If someone called you Bible studies or Sunday school, like, oh.
I haven't been to church in a while. I would really love to see what type of Bibles are in your church. Go look at your church Bible, the one they got in the pews. All of them is the same because they all want y'all reading the same thing. All right.
And
I guarantee you, yeah, it's not too modernized. That's because first of all, they don't want you to understand it. They don't want you to understand it. You know, y'all got to start looking at these people, you know, your church, your pastor is a pimp. And like I said, my baby's mother is a pastor. We have no communication. You know, when I got out the joint, I wanted to marry her. And it was going smooth until she seen that kufi on my head. She didn't want to talk to me then. You know, because the main thing about me going to Islam is because, you know, even though I was not Nation of Islam, Malcolm X was making some good points. You know, about that whole, how could a slave accept a religion from, you know, his slave master? You know, that excellent point. You know, but she's not interested in the truth. Your preachers they don't want the truth. They want that paper. That's it. If you think they genuine, just like Rod said or somebody said, if you think genuine, fall into some trouble and you need the help of the church that you've been giving your money to every week, and you need $1,000. The church ain't about to give you $1,000.
Yeah, I brought that up last class.
Yeah, the church ain't about to give you. I wouldn't care if you was getting kicked out your home, need surgery, whatever. They not giving you no $1,000. Money, that's how you know you in a hustle. In the hustle game, money come in, money don't go out. Every pimp will tell you that. Money come in, money don't go out. I'll buy you something, but I'm not giving you no money. Money come in, money do not go out. All right. Ain't no pimp that was ever successful told you, yeah, she bring me $1,000. I was paying my hoes like $500-$600 a week. Hell to no. Money come in, money don't never go out. That's how you know you in a hustle. Churches do not give people money. They rob from the poor and keep it. That's it. They rob from the poor and keep it. And they preying on the poorest people. That's why you got churches all out in the hoods. Because black people, you could sell them a dream. They'll pay for it. And this is the stupid part. Niggas will sit up there in the hood, drive your raggedy car to church, and watch your preacher get out in a brand new Cadillac in a $1,000 suit, and you won't even say a word. And you got them old heads. I seen an old woman when one of them preachers bought a jet, Creflo Dollar, paid like $50 million for a jet. You know what that old black lady said? Well, I guess he needed. I guess he needed. He doing the work of the Lord. Our grandmothers, stupid motherfuckers. My bad. Dummies. Let's be real. Our parents, when it comes to religion, stupid, dumb, pass this dumb crap down. Just think where your life might be if you didn't have this weight on your head. God gonna get you and all this dumb stuff. Just think how smoother and better, because that stuff done affected all of us, man. It's affected us all. It's determined decisions that you made in life that, you know, trying to be the good sheep or whatever you want to call it. It's done affected us all. You see what I'm saying? All of us may be in different positions in life if we didn't have this BS in the back of our head. I really thought I had a real relationship with God before I got locked up. You know, I was telling y'all earlier, people talk. I used to, when I would be by myself in my car, I would actually talk to God. And when stuff would go wrong, I would say stuff like this. Oh, okay, God, I understand why that happened. You getting me back because I did X, Y, Z. Making excuses for him. Making excuses for why God should punish me. Oh, I know why you did that to me, because of this, because of that. But see, when I got locked up, I ain't did nothing this bad. So I don't understand this. This ain't no get back. This is straight some BS right here. You think the entities that's around us that we're gonna be talking to on, you know, at the Oracle conference, you think they was there? Don't let's be clear. I call these entities my friends and stuff. If they want to talk, they want to talk. I don't know why they want to talk, but they talk. These niggas ain't my friends. I asked them before, did you guys send me to prison on purpose? They said, yeah. So they not your friends. And why they want to talk is beyond me. I kick it with them though, cordial sometimes, and sometimes I cuss they bitch ass out. I mean, knowing that they doing a job, I don't take it personal no more. I used to take it personal. So I don't take it personal no more. Because I understand. Well, they got a job to do. Ain't that what we learned in the Egyptian Book of the Dead? Even when souls get to heaven, what? They got the field of reeds, which means what? Souls are in the field of reeds working up in heaven. So I get it. Everybody got a job to do. So I don't take it personal. I understand the only way you can get your get back is knowledge, though, because that's the only thing you can take in the afterlife. So you got to get as much knowledge in this life as possible before you kick it. Going over to the other side not knowing a thing is the stupidest thing you can do. And that's why I created a soul trap session, for you to get some knowledge before you die, so you can understand what's going on when you get on the other side. It's not what they done lied to you about. And then now that you woke, why would you leave your fate up to somebody else? Do you leave your fate in life to somebody else? Do you just say, well, I'm not gonna work, I ain't gonna do nothing, I'm gonna let welfare take care of me, or the government? Is that what you do? No. So why would you do that on the other side? Knowing death is the only thing promised to you, why the fuck wouldn't you try to learn as much as possible about the afterlife? I mean, you ain't got to get the soul trap session if you don't want to. That's just a convenient way. You can get it out the mud like I did. Get your ass on YouTube and start looking at near-death experiences and get an idea. Yeah, get an idea of what people are seeing, what experiences they are going through in death. Because it's definitely a system going on. Not everybody is going into the light. Not everybody is, running through sunflower seeds. Other people are seeing hell. Other people are seeing nothing. Other people are having different type of experiences. Which should tell you what? It better tell you that you better get prepared to go over there. You gonna go over there not knowing nothing? You must never been to the joint before then. Going into the joint, not knowing how to act or operate in the joint. That's just, I never went to the joint before. You know what I'm saying? But I wised up real quick. I talked to people so that when I went in there, I at least knew how to carry myself as a man. so that I came out as a man. Because there's people I know people that went in as a man, they didn't come out a man. And I know some people that went in and didn't come out, period. So why would you go into the afterlife with absolutely no knowledge at all, knowing for a fact that there's other beings waiting on your ass? That's stupid. You think Jesus is going to save you? Okay. Okay. Here's the crazy part. We don't even know if Jesus even really existed. There's no proof. There's no proof. And who's been telling the story of Jesus? Your church. You don't even have proof that this man even existed. How many people did miracles, rose on the third, died, was crucified, rose on the third day, all of that stuff? How many people? Class. How many can we name? Mithra, Horus. That's 2 people right there. Those 2 people had 12 disciples. They died, rose 3 days later, did miracles, the same as Jesus. The same as Jesus. So you think Jesus is going to save you, or is it going to be Horus? Horus going to save you, or Mithra, or one of the other. It's like, I did a post on it. It's over 100. It's over 100 people with those same characteristics. You don't believe me? Google it. How many people had the kiss? Ask Google how many people had the same characteristics as Jesus, like, and then, to help Google say like Horus and Mithra. It was over 100. What you don't know will hurt you. We all been reincarnated. We all had our memories wiped clean. Do you really want to come back to this world knowing what the future holds? You better wake up, man. Y'all got to stop me from talking so much, man. We got to get to class, man. We got to get to class. Hold on. Let me share my screen with y'all. Anybody got any comment while I take a quick leap? Anybody?
Still, make sure y'all check y'all body when you wake up in the morning, man. Cause I got a scar on my from my stomach. I just realized I ain't even hitting anything. So
You got a scar on your stomach.
It's funny. It's funny how you say that, because
yeah, it's like
I know them boys kind of visited me kind of last night too, son. Cause I don't see someone behind my ears, and when I go to sleep, it's like I know either 2 things, either the shadows or the grays. Either one of the 2 circling me, and as I was closing my eyes, it's like I can't see it, but I was indescribable. I close my eyes, but I can see through closing my eyes. But they're looking at me like, damn, this nigga is like, has he seen us or something? But they know I'm seeing it because he while I'm looking through, he kind of, when somebody like poking their head, like looking at something, exactly what I see. I'm like, oh, shit. And I start to kind of realize I'm trying to see if they do anything, or, but it looks like they're operating on something. To me, they short, they're round with a head, dark eyes. I'm like, are we looking at me?
It was some gray aliens.
Yeah, they doing something.
Yeah. That's what I was saying last night.
Yeah.
I just found it like 5 minutes ago. I'm like, oh, I feel like a scar on my stomach. Yeah, it's my left side, bro.
People don't want to hear this because they're gonna be afraid. All right. But everybody gets visited in their sleep, y'all, at some point. If you've ever woken up at the same time every night, that is your body snitching on the fact that the aliens are coming in your sleep. All right. If you wake up at, like I used to wake up at 3 a.m., you know. See, now I trick their ass. I go to sleep. I mean, I stay up. I stay up late. All right. Because this is what I learned. If you waking up at like 2, if you waking up early in the night, 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., something like that, yeah, they coming to see you, right? So you need to stay awake after that because that throw their schedule off. So what they gonna do is they come, they see you woke, they circle back. They go on to the next person, whoever they're going to see, and then they circle back to you. And if you stay up long, yeah, if you stay up long enough, you know what I'm saying, they'll say F it for the night. You know, but I've done that, tried to like stay up, and then, you know, if I gotta, you know, get up in the morning, and then I'll like go to sleep around 6. They gonna come right, they waiting, they come back. And you gonna know because you're gonna have crazy dreams. See, your dream, they fabricate your dreams. Your dreams don't mean nothing. I mean, some people dreams do, and they use dreams as a weapon. All right. But it's individualized. The purpose is individualized. It's not just some random purpose. All right. But it's never you in a dream. It's not you. It's an actor playing you. That's why you can never see yourself in a dream. You always got to look down or something. It's like playing a video game. All right. And they got you someplace like here. This is your viewpoint. Like your viewpoint, you know, your viewpoint is going to be just like that video game. You're going to see out, but you can't never see the full picture. You know, all of that. It's just like in that movie, that kids movie that they showed you. All right. It's not you. And I learned that when like I said, I had a friend named Ping in the joint. I seen him on the bus. And on the bus, I'm calling him Pen with the G off. But in my head, I'm saying, why you keep calling him Pen when you know his name is Ping? As soon as I said that a couple times, boom, they booted me out of the dream. Because why did they boot me out the dream? Because if I'm having a thought, which is correctly, but my body is not responding, that means it's not your body. You see what I'm saying? So look, his name is Ping. I'm like, what's up, Ping? And then immediately, why are you calling him Ping when you know his name is Ping? And I keep talking and saying Ping, but my mind is saying, duh, his name is Ping. That's like right now, you telling your body, drink this water. Mentally, right? But you won't drink it physically. So either you retarded or there's a disconnect. There's something wrong, right? So if I'm saying drink the water, but my body not responding, now the question is, why am I not responding? So why wasn't I responding in the dream? Because it wasn't me in the dream. I was seeing this. They had me thinking it was me, but it wasn't me because my body did not react to the instructions that my mind had gave. You know his name is Ping. Correct that. You saying Pen. I kept saying Pen. I guarantee you, if you ever in a dream and something ain't right and you think that it ain't right and you discover that this ain't right, watch they boot you out of the dream. Watch you wake up just like that. They're going to kick you out. Your dreams are nothing but a production being put on for whatever reason. Most of the reasoning is you being abducted. Not physically, not always physically. All right. Now they can abduct your consciousness. Remember, people started talking about abduction when, you know, the 50s. They advanced. If we go from cell phones that look like this, well, they was bigger back in, you know, in the 80s, to what you got now, you ain't even got a cell phone in your this is not a cell phone no more, people. This is a freaking computer with phone capabilities. That's what you got in your hand. You got a laptop shrunken down, and they call it a phone, but this is really a computer you hold. So if our technology has advanced from, you know, what, the 80s, what's that, 40 years ago? So what it is, what you think they technology advances far? So if they was abducting bodies and cows and stuff like that back then, man, they on a whole nother level with the abduction now. All right. But everybody is being abducted. Everybody. And the reason you keep waking up at these specific times, that's your body telling on you. All right. Our bodies get adjusted. Like my father worked at a job for 30 years. Same time every day. 6 a.m. Sometimes the alarm wouldn't go off. So I would get up and go downstairs to wake him up thinking he overslept. No. He had become so adjusted, his body became so adjusted that he would wake up at 5:59 or 5:50. See, your body is a creature of habit. You see what I'm saying? And that's how you know if you waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and we all do it, you know, at whatever time your time is, everybody's time is different, but you wake up and you look over at the clock and it's 3 o'clock or whatever your time is. All right. You don't, in your head, you're like, well, I keep waking up at 3 o'clock. But that's your body saying, hey, we've been waking up at 3 o'clock. What is you talking about? You just don't remember. Because they wipe your memory clean. So we all being abducted if you've ever woken up at the same time. We all being abducted. Don't be afraid. I mean, they coming. You can try to stay up all night if you want to. When I found that out, you know, I didn't sleep for a while. A lot of this stuff, this knowledge I was finding out, I couldn't sleep knowing certain stuff. You know, I seen the grays, you know, with my ex-wife. Yeah, I seen them. So imagine that, you know, and you thinking you in a dream because they got you in a sleep paralysis state and you thinking you dreaming seeing this. I knew I wasn't dreaming though, because I was trying to push this finger into my lap. I mean, into my leg to break whatever trance they had me on. I seen him walk through, stuck his head right through the wall. And I don't sleep. I sleep with a nightlight, and they was standing right in front of me. I seen these dudes clear as day, but they wasn't there for me. They was there for my ex-wife. They was there for her ass. They was not there for me. You know, so I guess when they felt like I was about to break it, because that's why the dude popped his head through the wall, because he telepathically told them, hey, this one is waking up or whatever. And they looked at me, and then they just all disappeared. And I jumped out of bed. Like, I saw him.
Well, found out the story thing, not to cut you off, but that sounded like the same thing that happened. Like, but the thing is, I wouldn't sleep. I didn't sleep around time. Like, I wouldn't sleep around like 2:30. You know what I'm saying?
And here go the thing, Yaga. If you sleeping, if you say it was just a dream, if you sleeping, don't nobody wake up out of a dream, you know, jumping up saying, I saw him. When I don't have plenty of dreams. You just wake up and be like, whoa, that was a crazy dream. But yeah, they don't have marks on me and all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do? Don't go to sleep. You can't do nothing about it. They tell you, if you Google it and say sleep paralysis, they're gonna tell you you hallucinate. And yet the whole world has sleep paralysis. So everybody in the world is hallucinating and they sleep at that, right? Come on, man. The system is rigged. They lie to us. They tell us the sun is 98 million miles away. Well, if the sun is 98 million miles away, how the hell can I see it? How can we see the sun? We ain't. Do you got a telescope? So you saying my eyes are more powerful than a telescope because I could see the sun on a sunny day, and it's 98 million miles away. How could you see that? Can you see anything else 98 million miles away? No, you cannot. But you can see the sun. The stars. They tell you stars, some stars is light years away. How you see that? How can you see the Big Dipper and all that if it's light years away? So their story don't make sense, but guess what story do make sense? The one in the Bible where Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, where God said, I put the sun, I put the two great lights inside the dome and the stars. Makes sense now. Makes sense now. Because we all must have, and I wear glasses, these is readers. So we all must have some remarkable eyesight to be able to look up in the sky and see the sun, moon, and the stars that they tell us is millions of miles away. And yet, if you hold an eye chart up to me, I'm blind as a bat. I'm blind as a bat. Make it make sense. And then the killing part of it all, if you Google and say, well, how's the sun lighting up the earth if the sun is 98 million miles away? They're going to tell you that the light rays, the light rays that is right now lighting up this planet, so-called planet, are millions of years old. Because that's how long it takes for light. The speed of light and all of that, it takes light years for those rays to get here to Earth. That's what they're going to tell you. But see, then my question is, well, if the light rays is coming from Earth to light up the Earth, why is outer space dark? Outer space should not be dark. And then they'll say, oh, outer space don't have an atmosphere. There's nothing for the light rays to reflect off. So now you're telling us that these light rays is invisible, but when they get into Earth's atmosphere, they suddenly light up. And this is all uniform and perfect across the board, meaning there's no splotches. Why are there ain't dark spots some places? So you're telling me this is happening and it's just 100% perfect. No splotches, nothing. What about, look, what about all the asteroids that's out in outer space? So none of those light rays is being deflected by other objects in outer space and going, which means, you know, if a bunch of them coming at Earth and you saying this is what's lighting Earth, what about the ones that, you know, that went through some type of, what about the ones that went through the asteroid belt? There's plenty of asteroids in the asteroid belt. How is the Earth getting full sunlight with no dark spots, period? Common sense will prove these people wrong every single time. All right.
And they claim that there's space dust, just how the clouds would cover our sun.
Right.
Supposedly there's space dust.
Yeah, supposedly.
The hell no?
Supposedly. And then
Hey, you
here,
recording wrong.
what'd you say?
You recording? I said, are you recording?
Yeah, we record. Good looking out. You know, and here go one of the other anomalies, you might call it.
Oh.
Why the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, all these star constellations ain't moved in thousands of years. They still there. And yet they tell you on a spinning ball, the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour, right? And then the Earth is spinning, you know, in the galaxy, and then the whole galaxy is spinning and going through outer space. This is what they tell you. And yet, ain't nobody moved positions or nothing, just even a little bit. We so stupid. We actually allow people to tell us that what we seeing with our own eyes is not what we seeing with our own eyes. Every astronaut is a liar. The only people really telling you the truth is the airplane pilots who, you know, constantly keep showing up on social media saying, yeah, it's flat. It's flat. It's flat. The one post I got, the pilot gonna tell you, y'all been flying for 40 some years. The world is flat, but they tell us not to tell you. It's a secret. It's a secret. They take an oath. They ain't, you know, they not prosecuting them or nothing, but, you know, now they don't really care. You know, they letting all the cats out the bag now, so they don't really care. But they, you know, you couldn't get a pilot to say that, say, 20, 30 years ago. You couldn't get a pilot to say that on especially on camera 20, 30 years ago. He wouldn't have said it. But now they, you know, they telling you. The most you got, one of the earliest videos I had of a pilot trying to tell you the truth, he just showed you. He never said a word. He showed you the sun. They was in a plane going up, they was rising, coming up over the clouds, and he took a video that showed you the sun inside the clouds. And he never said a word. He just showed you the video and smiled. That was one of the first videos I posted back in 2016. He never said a...
Yeah, I seen a video.
You seen a video like that?
Someone took their... Yeah, I had sent it to you, but you know how it be. They took their high-powered camera on an airplane ride when it was a sunrise.
Yeah.
And they got to record under, like, how it's dark, you know, the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Where it starts. But yesterday, I want to show y'all this. Yesterday, Raw, there was a motherfucking someone from Pluto at the conference. Look, check this out.
I can't see anything. Can everybody see the screen?
Oh, wait, I got the share screen on. You can't see mine?
Okay.
Let me turn it off or pause it. Can you see now?
Not yet.
I probably got to
No, that's still the same.
There we go.
Okay. Go ahead. Show it again. I didn't see what you was showing me.
You gotta listen. It's not about hearing it. It's about it's not about seeing it. But yeah, just listen.
We can't hear it.
Okay, so basically, what yesterday, whenever you was using the dowsing rod, then ask if there's anyone here from different star systems.
Yeah.
Your voice got possessed, like how in the fifth kind, like how whenever she starts speaking Sumerian.
Yeah.
On the look, I'll put it in the chat so y'all can hear it. But yeah, bro, your voice got possessed like in the last conference whenever you was asking for the dowsing rods, and I just thought that was interesting.
Ah, yeah. Well, yeah. All right, y'all. We about to read. We gotta read. We have got. Hold on. Let me share my screen.
I want to hear that voice.
I put it in the chat. Just click
Okay.
on it, and it will go down at the time.
Oh, let me see if I can play it then. Wait, I'm gonna have to share my screen then. Hold on. Can y'all see my screen? Can y'all see my screen? All right. All right, here we go right here.
No, nobody here from Mars. How about Pluto? Anybody here from Pluto? No. Anybody here from Atlantis?
Tell me you heard that.
Atlantis? Is that a yes for Atlantis?
We got a yes for Atlantis.
Atlantis.
Somebody in the School of Knowledge is from Atlantis.
No, y'all in the group, y'all ain't gonna set it out?
That's what I said. That's what I said. The good people in the group is not talking.
All right.
Somebody in school is from Atlanta.
Yeah. Remember last week?
Yeah, it was just
Last week we did the dials and rods.
What stuff is this when you said?
But somebody is in the School of Knowledge. Somebody in class here is from Atlantis. Where's my share button? Oh, y'all already on share. All right, let's get it in. Okay, so we left off in the book of Enoch on page 15. All right. So we're just going to pick up right here. Therefore shall ye execrate your days, and the years of your life shall perish, and the years of your destruction shall be multiplied in eternal abomination, and ye shall find no mercy. In those days ye shall make your names an eternal abomination unto all the righteous, and by you shall all who curse. All the sinners and godless shall imprecate by you, and for you the godless there shall be a curse. Now, here go the thing when you're reading something like this. So what Enoch is doing right now is, he's basically saying what's going to happen to people that don't believe in this, that, and the other, right? That God is, he basically telling you God gonna get you, all right? Now, when we read something like this, and then you go and you look at thousands of near-death experiences like I have, this is not the case. You have a handful of people saying, I was shown hell, all right? And then you begin to wonder, okay, so you got a few people being shown hell that died and came back to life. All right? And they being shown hell. Enoch never really said nobody that there was a hell. Well, he mentioned something about a hell, but the majority of people are being reincarnated. You know what I'm saying? So the big red flag is, as we gonna read this book, you're gonna see that Enoch is going to ask questions, and Gabriel and the other angels that's with him, guess what they're gonna say to Enoch when he asks questions? Why do you want to know that? And I forget what Enoch says, but my reasoning would be, why the hell you bring me up here then? So, because Enoch is asking questions and they refuse to answer those questions, then you have to look at it like this. This is a guided tour. This is like the Jews giving you a guided tour of the Gaza Strip that they've been bombing and killed over 20,000 kids, but they're not showing you that part. This is like a prison giving a guided tour to the press to say, we treat the inmates real good, but they don't show you the whole. They don't show you the bad parts. You see what I'm saying? So Enoch was given a guided tour, and the angels showed Enoch what they wanted him to speak on, period. That don't mean it's the truth or the whole truth. It's slanted. This is what you call a slanted story. And how do you know it's slanted? Because they refuse to answer his questions. and you invited him up there and told him to write down everything. So if he's unclear or he wants more information, why wouldn't you give him that? That's how you know. Enoch was used as a pawn by Angel Gabriel and them guys, and ultimately by the so-called God. He was used as a pawn to give you a slanted story about what really goes on up there. And that's what you're going to see. So as we read through this, please understand Enoch is 2,000 years old. And some aliens with the power of flight and mad advanced technology done pick this dude up. He gonna submit 100%. To him, to 2,000-year-old man, these aliens are God. Because he ain't never seen no stuff like this before in his life. But that's his excuse. He's 2,000 years old. What's our excuse when we know technology like this exists? So to keep our head in the sand, to think that this stuff is real like they thought it was real when we know better, come on, man. All right? We're not paying attention to what's around us. We really not. But let's keep going. So all the righteous shall rejoice, and there shall be forgiveness of sins, and every mercy and peace and forbearance. There shall be salvation unto them, a goodly light. And for all you sinners, there shall be no salvation, but on you all shall abide the curse of the beast. But for the elect, there shall be light and joy and peace, and they shall inherit the earth. All right. Who is inheriting the earth? Let's just be honest. Let's look at this. Was 2,000 years ago. All right. Who has no salvation and was, abiding by the curse of the beast? Life is hard for everyone except the elite. And some of us know people that, are just plain good people. And bad things happen to them still. Yet the elite, as the Epstein files is showing you, they eat kids and do all type of stuff. And they still rich. Your president is a pedophile. Ain't nobody called. Why Congress ain't trying to impeach this dude? Huh? You see what I'm saying? So when you read this stuff, talking about the sinners is going to be this going to happen to the sinners and that, ain't shit happening to the sinners. They get paid. Their life is good. You think Donald Trump don't snore at night when he go to sleep, knowing all the crazy stuff he done did to kids? Obama, Oprah, all the rest of them, they sleep good at night. If this stuff in this book was real, don't you think the elite of all people would be observing this? Religion is for the poor. That's what religion for. Poor, stupid people. Dummies. The rich ain't doing this. The rich don't do this. Every time your presidents, Obama and Biden and all them show you on TV to go to church, it's just a play, a ploy. We being played like chumps. Played like chumps. And then there shall be bestowed upon the elect wisdom, and they shall all live and never again sin, either through ungodliness or through pride. But they who are wise shall be humble. I don't even like reading this shit, to be honest with you. I don't even like reading this because this is indoctrination, what we're reading. And it's trying to put the fear, it's trying to put you in fear.
Totally agree.
You see what I'm saying?
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
well, reading what you're talking earlier, all
Yeah.
you need is instructing.
It's fear-mongering.
And as you read it now, it's always doing instructing.
It's fear mongering. It wants you to be afraid.
Yeah.
And see, I ain't afraid of I'm not afraid of Yahweh. I ain't afraid of Grabiel or any other of them other, punks. I'm not afraid of them. What you gonna do? Kill me? Good. Now, if you kill me, now I'm better than you. Cause I got the God soul in me. You can't F with me. So killing me that's releasing me from the prison. This is the prison. The body is the prison. So I'm not look, everybody that done told you that done had a near-death experience. As soon as they left their body, boom, what was it? Peace. No cares in the world. So it ain't nothing to fear. I don't fear death. I don't fear death. So now that we got that out the way, what else you gonna do to me? You can't do nothing to me. That's why getting the soul trap session is really important too. It takes away your fear of death. There's nothing to be afraid of. I'm leaving this fake world, going into my true self, and I am a powerful being. Why would I ever be afraid of that? Why would I ever be afraid of that? I'm not afraid of that. You can hide this world suffering. Ain't none of it fair. I broke your system with 65 billion views on TikTok and you delete my page. So you don't have to pay me. I'm a billionaire. I broke you sent me to the joint. You did all this other stuff, put it in my life to try to keep me down. And I still get out and break your system. And then you hoes don't keep it fair. So I already know how strong and powerful I am as a soul. I know you don't want to see me coming. I broke your system. And TikTok did what? Changed the content creator program rules after that. We got a whole new set of rules. I guess you do. Since you owe this man about $3.5 billion, I guess you do. And that shit going to court this year. It's just that, see, they chose arbitration to handle their problems and legal stuff because you have to pay up front for arbitration. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay. And for this case, that means I got to pay something like $15,000 up front. Of course, I don't have that type of money, right? But yeah, that's why they do it. So this is the exact prime reason that they so glad they got arbitration, because it's going to take me some time to get that money. And they banking on, oh, well, you only got 8 years under California statutes for breach of contract. You only got 8 years. And this happened, this 2026, this happened 3 years ago now. So they they playing that game. It's not going to work though. But anyway, yeah, I really don't even like reading this crap. I really just want to get to the good part when he started talking about and let's do that. Do we really need, okay, here we go. Let's start chapter 3 with the fallen angels. All right. And it came to pass when the children of men had multiplied that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. Going back to what we said, on the 6th day, God said what to humankind? Let us make man in our image, both male and female. He created them, and he told them to go be fruitful and multiply. That was the only rule God gave to the people. All right. Those people had beautiful daughters, like it says right here. The children of men had multiplied. Same thing God told them to do. Be fruitful and multiply, right? The children of men had multiplied and were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of the heaven. Let's be clear. The angels, the children of the heaven, did what? Saw and lusted after them and said to one another, come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men and beget us children. So a group of angels. Now let's understand what we're reading here. This ain't Bible class. This is school, where we use ramification thinking to understand what it is we're reading. How are people today think angels are what? Some spirit dudes, some spirit people that got wings on their back, flying around like fairies. So they decide to choose wives. They're not just having sex. These dudes wanted some wives. What's a wife? This is somebody you gonna be with. They the men, and we talking back then when chivalry was at its greatest. A woman wasn't working. So if they're going to take wives, that means they're going to take care of them. I mean, honestly, what could a woman do back then? She couldn't earn a living. So the man had to provide, because the man had to get out and cut the wood and go get the meat and all that. Now, she can cook and all that stuff, but so let's be clear what they're doing. They are taking wives. This is not just about sex. Because they didn't say, let's just go down there and bang some of them out. They said, let's get wives, let's get children, and let's have a family. That's what these dudes want. When you say, let us go and get wives and beget children, what is that? A family. So these dudes wanted a family, which also means what? They wanted to be loved. A man don't choose to get a family just so he can get his rocks off or something. Dude, I'm gonna block your punk ass. You keep it up. Don't say shit. Be lucky you even on this page. Your retarded ass. Dumbass out here. Idiot. But anyway, so they wanted to be loved, because that's why you get a family. That's why you marry a woman and have children. It's all about love. Men may not say that and put it in those terms today, but you go find you a woman and to be your wife and have children. That's all about love. So these dudes wanted to be loved. And Samjasa, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear ye will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. So notice what he's calling a sin. Is this a sin? What's a sin? A sin, according to this, is what? Breaking some sort of rule. A rule that you have, a rule that you know of and have agreed to abide by. That's all sin is. So you can't never sin if you do something that you did not agree to not do. You understand? Hold on, I got my phone charging. So let that sink in. When they say sinning, your churches and them talking all that sinning crap, how could you sin if you never agreed to do it or not do it? Then it ain't a sin. I didn't agree, not to do this, that, and the other. It's not a sin. In my book, the secret book of knowledge, it discusses breaking contracts, all right, that you didn't agree upon. This will fall up under that. how could you, you know, when people go to church and stuff, they talking about you sinning this, that, and the other, but you didn't agree to the stuff that they telling you ain't even supposed to be doing. So some contracts that you can make are unknown to yourself. You see what I'm saying? Some contracts that you make are unknown to yourself. That's why it's so important to read this book if you call yourself a Christian, or to read the Quran if you call yourself a Muslim. You can enter into contracts with these entities without you even knowing it. And guess what that means? If you are constantly breaking rules or agreements that you didn't even know you had agreed to, now you want to know why you having such what you think is bad luck? You're not having bad luck. You're being punished. You're being punished for violating a contract or the terms of a contract that you unknowingly agreed to do. And there's a way to get out of that. Get the book, Secret Book of Knowledge. It tells you how to get out of contracts that you didn't agree to. And if you don't think that's true, come to be at the Oracle Conference. We'll ask the Thousand Rods. We'll ask the spirits. You can ask the spirits on your own behalf. Am I under any contracts that I didn't know I signed up for or agreed to or whatever? They're gonna tell you. I guarantee you would say yes. We all are. We all are. I guarantee you it's gonna say yes. But in the book, I'll tell you how to break that. So Samjasa is scared. What Samjasa just said is, if they take the wives, which is against the rules, he fears that he gonna have to take the rap by himself. So they answer him and they say, look, Samjasa, let us all swear an oath and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecations not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. So they like, hey, let's do it. We're going to ride with you, dog. All right. So they swear all together and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And they were in all 200 who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon. And they called it Mount Hermon. Ain't that stupid? Look. And they called it Mount Hermon because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. All right. Now, Raj, you was talking a few weeks ago about the 200 in was it Greenland or Iceland?
Greenland.
Is in Greenland? Is Raj gone?
The one that watches.
Yeah.
It's gone.
All right. Well, so and do you know the story, Yaga? I don't know it completely. I just bits and pieces.
Yeah, so basically the 200 watches are the one that all the small entities that are under, they report back to that anything that goes on Earth, anything they report back to the 200 watches that are over there across the Greenland because of the ice will be. So those are basically, the ones that will give like the authors and stuff on the Earth. But they only think about like how can I say it? Like they're the ones that go into contract with the entities that people don't know about.
Right.
Basically.
But I was basically
whatever kind.
I was referring to that that they got some sort of hall set up or something, and it's exactly 200 seats. And people have been saying that.
Yeah, just like you do the Egyptian book of the dead, like that council type stuff.
They think this they think it's them, the fallen angels, but yeah, so they all said they was gonna do it together, right? So the names of the people that did it is Simjaza or Simlazas, which is really Sanjasa, the leader. And we don't need to know their names, you know. But yeah, these are their names, you know, which I can't even pronounce most of them anyway. But I do want to explain to y'all this. Notice that most of the names end in L. All right. So besides Sanjasa and Arakabal, most of the names end in L. This is not Ramil. This is Rama L. Kokable L. Tom L. Ramle L. Don L. Ezekiel L. That's Barika How. Ozzy L. Now, in the Superman thing, when they tell you that Superman comes from the house of El, this is what they was talking about. All right? This is exactly what they was talking about. So, and this is, you know, like you got Elohim. This means something. Whether it's a house of, you know, people, you know, because, you know, you got this. In reality, this is the Anunnaki. So is there different houses in Anunnaki? Is it different? Like what we call blood relations, they call houses. You know, is it different, you know, houses, or is, you know, or even, I don't want to say species, but, you know, just some type of difference where they all identify. All right. So just to make that clear to y'all when y'all see that. But anyway, and all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one. And they began to go in unto them and defile themselves with them. So what they call and defile, like as if the woman is nasty or something. See, they supposed to be, the Anunnaki created humans as slaves, so they look down on us. To them, we are dirty. We are idiots and monkeys and all of that stuff. All right, white, black, it don't make a difference. You see what I'm saying? The only rule that these watchers broke was that they sought human wives. But guess what? What does that tell us? Ramification thinking. Go to my website, sign up for the book. That means what? The watchers look like who? You and I. Or why would a human woman want a monster? So, you know, it's not just that they took wives. The woman had to accept. So they wasn't looking like no monsters, or they didn't have wings in their back and all of this old crazy stuff. They look like humans. They look like humans. Thought I blocked this idiot. But anyway, that's what we get from this. And then look, they only took one wife. Prophet Muhammad had 4. They only took one. How could their crime be more than Prophet Muhammad's? So I'm just adding some, I don't want to call it humanity to this, but I mean, let's look at it for what it is. You know, they talking, Enoch is giving you the version of the spin from the point of, you know, the heavens. This is what they're telling them to write. So, all right. We clearly getting the system side of things, you know. But see, I look past all that. These dudes took one woman, made her his wife, and then had kids with her because he wanted children. I don't see that as a sin. If anything was a sin, that BS I told you that Yahweh did, what Elohim did when they first created man. What did they say? Go be fruitful and multiply. They didn't say take a wife. So since you gave a blanket order to the first humans, you couldn't have told me that wasn't no orgy. Everybody had to be banging everybody. And that order came from God himself. And so you gave that order, but then these guys decide to take a wife and you want to punish them for that? Come on, man. I don't buy it. So they taught their wives charms and enchantments and the cutting of roots and made them acquainted with plants. This is, as you were saying earlier, Ludwig, this is the knowledge that, you know, Africans had. Charms, enchantments, and the cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with plants. This is what African slaves gave up when they came to America. They gave that up and picked this up. Religion. So your slave master swapped out your real religion, your real knowledge, your real power, and gave you this. And idiots today still think this is more powerful than what you once knew. Sad. It's very sad. All right. And they became pregnant. The women became pregnant and they bare great giants whose height was 3,000 ells, who consumed all the acquisitions of men. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. Now this is something here. All right. But now we got to make sure we understand something. Number one, the Anunnaki are giants. I've told you this repeatedly. They are giants. All right. Some upwards of 50 feet. But please understand something about these women. They were almost giants too. All right. Not as big as the Anunnaki, but big enough so that they can screw them. All right. So don't think that, you know, this is your regular 5'4" woman, you know, being with a giant. No. And I forget who, and I ain't got one of my phones to Google it, but
like the Tartarians was like 7 feet, 7.5.
Wasn't some major biblical figure, I don't know if it's Noah or Moses or somebody, was they actually got a height on him, and he, you know, would be considered a giant by all terms, by all meaning. But I forget who it is. I want to say it's Noah. All right, but remember, they were taller back then, and they lived longer. All right, they lived longer, and anytime you live longer, like, you know, who we got? Enoch. Didn't Enoch live to be a long time? But anytime you live longer, your growth is different. We live to be 100 years old, right? If we lucky, right? Really 70, 80 years old. And our growth stops in the first quarter of your life. You know what I'm saying? Some, you know, usually around 18 to 24, that's it. It's gone. You know, if you ain't reached, if whatever height you at that point, you probably gonna be the rest of your life. So you have to look at it like that today, like back in the day. So if they lived like 1,000 years, then they grew for the first quarter of their life, which would be 250 years. You see what I'm saying? They would still grow. And since we know they didn't start out like, you know, small, yeah, they were big too. And they began to sin against birds and beasts and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh and drink the blood. Then the earth laid accusation against the lawless ones. All right. Now, so eating people has been around since the Watchers. How's it a sin to eat birds and beasts and reptiles and fish? How's that a sin? See in the School of Esoteric Knowledge, which y'all should join. I'm giving you a freebie today. All right, but you really should be here so you can learn this stuff. We stop and we question stuff. We just don't read. That's what church do. They just read and people accept it. We don't do that here. We read and we stop and we question. How is sinning against birds and beasts a sin? Reptiles and fish. How is that a sin when in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, when the Elohim create humankind, God says, I give you dominion over the fish of the sea and over the beasts of the land, saying you can eat them. You can eat them. But now it's all of a sudden a sin, right? I'm going to be pointing out these inconsistencies. Because as I said, this is just here for what? Fear mongering. This is fear mongering. So they began to sin against birds, beasts, and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh and drink the blood. Then the earth laid accusation against them. All right. And Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them in bracelets and ornaments, and the use of antimony and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones and all coloring tinctures. All right. And there arose much godlessness, and they committed fornication, and they were led astray and became corrupt in all their ways. So how is this fornication? But what God tell man to do on the 6th day, man and woman, to go be fruitful and multiply? Why that ain't fornication? Huh? How could having sex even be fornication when the first rule and the only rule given to the humankind when they were first created was to go have sex? Huh? So now they're calling it fornication. How come it ain't fornication when God did it? And see, I'm bringing up these points because I want you to understand one thing about these dudes. And I'm not trying to defend the Watchers, but I want you to understand that nothing is a sin as you think it is. What a sin is to these people is anybody that go against their rules, no matter if their rules are right or wrong. So let's be clear about what these guys did. They was lonely, right? And they had enough respect for the women not to just come down and screw them, which they obviously could have did. They took them for wives. They put some respect on the woman's name. And they treated her with respect, because don't nobody go marry somebody to be disrespectful. You don't have to do that. If all they wanted was some booty, they could have got booty. But they married these women. And then they taught them stuff. And why is what they taught wrong? Because the system didn't want us to know. But does that make it right? Is that a rule that you would abide by? Keep us ignorant. That's all we keep learning from the system. Don't eat from the tree of knowledge. Stay ignorant. Oh, you taught them how to do this and that and the other. We wanted them ignorant. So it appears that every time one of them try to wake us up, like the serpent, they get vilified for trying to help us. Which should tell you what? Your God does not want you to be smart. He wants you to be a dummy. Now, why would he want you to be ignorant? Because you can't control a smart person. Do I look controllable? I am not controllable. Frederick Douglass, slave abolitionist, said, knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. And he was ever so right. And if you don't think the system know that knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave, then you about to hear and you about to read all the attempts at the system to try to keep man ignorant. See, an ignorant person is fit to be a slave. You don't know shit. That's what I keep trying to tell you about going into the afterlife. If you go into the afterlife without getting the soul trap session, you will be a slave. Because there's beings over there that know way more than you. But knowledge makes you unfit to be a slave. So you don't never want to freaking go any place and not know something. Because now you leave, now you at the wheel of somebody else that do know. And so now you trusting that they're going to do you right. And that is very stupid. But anyway. So Simjaza taught the enchantments and the root cuttings. Amaros, the resolving of enchantments. They were taught astrology, the constellations, knowledge of the clouds. Listen to this. The signs of the earth, signs of the sun, and of course the moon, and the course of the moon. So they was really just taught life lessons. Huh? That's it. How to survive. Think about it. It's thousands of years ago at the beginning of, or millions, we don't know, right? At the beginning of humanity. And they were taught stuff that they needed to know. And yet the system, lords, the gods, didn't want them to have it. All right, that was enough for y'all freebie. Join the School of Esoteric Knowledge. I don't know why you wouldn't.